2.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Elite Racing Network. Those of you tuning in to see ARCA, we're here a little earlier tonight. You will not be seeing ARCA tonight. It will be Carb Day, and we're starting off here with the Freedom 100. Joining me here in the booth tonight is Carlos. Carlos typically drives on Wednesday nights. And tonight we've both stepped up. Yeah, Carlos, what do you think we're going to see? Freedom 100, I think, is the best race. Even better than the Indy 500. This race is going to be super exciting. I've had the pleasure to work it a couple years in a row now. I think maybe one of those years was with you, one was with Dave. But what do you think we're going to see here in this first race?
We're going to see some fun, exciting racing action. A lot of three-wide, maybe, and four-wide battles, especially during the straightaways. And with Chad in the field, him causing maybe a record too before he wins this race, like he did last season. At least I think he won this one.
Yeah. And he won. I think he won a couple of these Carb Day races last year. He had his big day, and he was able to ride that wave of momentum right into the Indy 500 as well. So this kind of sets the tone for all the action that we are about to see here over the next couple of days.
Yeah.
And this field is a little bit bigger.
Oh yeah.
As well.
Yeah, bigger than last year. We have 19 cars on track, and why don't you tell the guys watching here what is going on with these cars, because they look like regular DW12s.
Well, I believe these are set up with a lot less horsepower. Correct? They don't have near the horsepower. It'll be a wide open kind of a pack style race. Like those of you tuning in expecting to see ARCA tonight on the Elite Racing Network, this is going to look very similar to a Daytona or Talladega type race. There's going to be big runs, big drafts. It's nerfed a little bit on the horsepower, got a little bit more downforce. It's going to be an exciting race. You mentioned 3 and 4 wide, and it will be 3 and 4 wide. Anytime Chad's on the racetrack, though, it doesn't matter the car, the track. It could be Martinsville, and you know Chad is going to find a way to get 3 or 4 wide one good time. So.
Yeah, well said. Well, Chad doesn't have to work too hard to get himself up to the front. I believe he qualified 3rd. We had the starting lineup going, but Harrison Talion did get the pole. Pressy, Sora in 2nd, Chad 3rd, and then Takeshi Kita in 4th. But yeah.
Yeah, and you got a Leighton Norgard right there in 5th. James Watson, Michael Hosick, R.C. Anderson's out here tonight. Zach Evans, Wayne Hunter, Hunter Smith, Cale Pocock, Connor Thompson's out here. Mark is out here, and Mark was trying to get as many people to drive today as he could. Posted on Twitter that he would cover whoever wanted to run. He was going to cover their entry fee because he wanted as many cars out here tonight as we could get. Chris is out there, starting in 15th. Josh Osborne's back there. Dylan Haver. He's been running good enough. We can say his name correctly. And I'm not sure who ERN is.
Who?
But they've got a time. And Brendan Litchberg is rounding out the field with no qualifying time. Are you racing this race, Carlos? Is that you out there? Are you?
No,
That's not me.
I don't know where you see an ERN at. But pace car is off, green flag is out, and we are set to take one of 40 laps here tonight for the Freedom 100.
That's right, and look at the leader gets away. Harry gets out there. But you're going to see this big run down the backstretch. They work through 1 and 2. I'm not even going to wait until the backstretch. Presley's already looking for this lead here off of turn 2. They head down the backstretch, fanning out. There's Chad. Got Michael in there. Lots of big drafts here down the backstretch. The 98's going to take the lead, turn all the way to the bottom into 3. Kind of play a little bit of air block game. Kind of running as many different lanes as he can run in here. Off of turn number 4, they're going to come around. They're going to complete the first lap in the Freedom 100. They're 3 wide, looking for 4.
Yeah, I understand now who you're asking about. Who is LGN? That is Luis Gonzalez Nunez, who is currently in 17th place in the 999 machine. I don't know if that is the exact number he's supposed to be running, but that is a number that iRacing assigned him.
Well, and I believe if you tune in on Thursday, you'll get to hear his voice do play-by-play for the Indy 500, correct?
I believe that may be the case, yes.
And look at this field down into 3.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the start of the Indy 500 coming through 3 and 4, but this is 200 miles an hour. crazy stuff that you're going to see here. The whole race will play out like this until the tires start to wear, the cars will start to handle. Right now, all these cars are driving just fantastic. They're not wearing the tires. They're not doing anything the driver doesn't want them to do. Able to move around. You're seeing it here. It's this race up at the front. And this leads to some big crashes at times. We'll have to keep an eye out for the big one tonight. Like I mentioned, this is going to look like a super speedway race for a stock car guy, and there's a lot of stock car guys out here who are just showing up for these events. And they're used to having to try to avoid the chaos, and we'll have to see how that shakes out here tonight.
I haven't personally done too many open wheel races, let alone in the ovals. So my experience is a bit lacking there in terms of exactly what they're getting. But the few times I have attempted the iRacing Indy 500 or even just Indy cars at tracks like California or Phoenix, it's a very different beast. You can't handle these the same way you would handle a Cup car or an Xfinity car. So a lot of guys who especially just do like stock car ovals find themselves kind of just like taking a couple of laps, maybe a couple of races to kind of figure out just how to truly drive these beasts.
And I believe somebody might have tried to bump draft on the backstretch there, and it was called out, hey, let's not bump draft. These cars will not hold together through a bump draft very, very well. So we might end up seeing some debris fly somewhere, maybe even a car fly somewhere. As you see another lead change. At the end of every straightaway, they are having a lead change. And it's been Chad and Presley. You got RC up here joining the fight now. I mean, it is just, these three have kind of worked together a little bit here. And they've kind of got some separation over the 4th, 5th, 6th on back guys, as Harry's finally trying to get in line, and he'll draft right back up to him.
And I have to kind of understand, why is there a separation between these top three guys if the draft plays such a huge effect?
Well, you see, those top three got single file, and those are three very smart guys who know what they're doing. And we've got a caution.
Already?
I don't see it.
I mean,
don't think it was the big one.
Let me take a look. I see Hunter Smith has crashed, but that was a while ago. He's 7 laps down. Oh, I think oh, this is going to not be good. Look, Hunter Smith leaving pit road. I think he just comes to a stop. I don't know if he stalled his vehicle or was just trying to wait for the lead guys to go on by, but this is what caused the caution.
Yeah, that's very odd, but nonetheless, we're going to get this caution. I'm not sure about the tires that they have available tonight, but if they're unlimited, you'll see everybody come and get them right here. One thing you asked me there before we got that caution was how those three broke away, and those 4th on back, they were running double and triple wide, and they seen what was happening. It's no different than what we had happen in the Cup Series, I believe in Atlanta last week, as these guys get side by side, and a couple guys, get a small group getting single file, and they'll drive away single file over those double wide and triple wide guys.
Mm-hmm. Well, no caution, no crash here to cause a caution. So with 7 laps into this race, I think a little bit early, but I kind of want to see what one of these competitors' mindset is this early on into the race and how they're faring. How about we bring up maybe 6th place driver Chris Albright? Let me wait a bit to make sure they don't go down Perry Road first. But how does that idea sound to you?
Hey, I'll talk to anybody who wants to come up here and talk to me. Sometimes it's hard to get these drivers to want to come up here, but we'll see how... we got a few fakers here. I believe if it's like last year, they only have 1 set of tires that they can get throughout the race, so I'm not surprised to see a lot of guys stay out here. It's way too early if they've only have 1 set.
Let me go ahead and see what I can do. All right, Chris. Oh, actually, Chris, why don't you go ahead and handle Chris?
Yeah, we got a couple Chris's up here, but we're all C's with Carlos. But Chris, why don't you talk to us there a little bit about how this thing feels out here, as you guys just got to 1 to green, I believe, right? So, real quick here, talk to us about your race, what you expect, and what you felt so far.
Yeah, we're 1 to green. I started near the back. I don't know how to qualify well outside of the Indy 500 apparently, but I want to go to the front and mix it up front. I don't want to sit around and wait in the draft. I know the last Freedom 100, I kind of rode around in the back and got some damage in an accident. So if the seas will part, I will try and go through the middle.
Well, go through the middle. That sounds like the Chad strategy. You know, if there's a hole, I'm going to take it. You saw those guys kind of drive away, those front three, and you guys had to line back up. Do you think that's something we'll see again here throughout the run, or is that we're going to have to wait until tires fall off a little bit to see some separation?
I think it can happen. It's just hard to there's not a strong pull up until you get within a half a second. So if there's a gap, it'll take a little bit of time to close that back down.
Well, all right, Chris, good luck the rest of this race, and do the Chris's everywhere proud out here tonight.
Thank you. I'll do my best.
All right, Chris. So we got some small information there from our good friend Chris. Currently in 8th place position, but green flag is out, and I believe. Oh, okay. I was under the impression we would be going 1 lap of green flag pacing before we went actual green flag, but it looks like these guys are already taking over as Frankenfield dips down to the inside to take the lead from RC Anderson.
Yeah, we had a restart there. Chad sped it up. He said, we're going to get some action. We're going to get some racing. We're not going to pace around. We're not going to waste laps here tonight. And they are 3 wide down here into turn number 3 already. And these front 5 have kind of drove away. We see it right here on this restart. We'll have to keep an eye on Chris. He said he was going to be aggressive. Well, he's going to have to get it figured out here and get his group pulled back up here to this front. But they are 3 wide here at the front. Chad Frankenfield, RC Presley, 3 wide. That's going to bring the whole group closer together.
Would you go ahead and talk for a little bit while I take care of a small brief issue I have going on?
Yeah, and you see here you got RC pulling out front, Presley, Chad, that whole group coming back together. Big run here from Chad's going to take that dive 3 wide down the backstretch into 3. Last lap he was on the top of 3 wide into 3. This time he's on the inside pulling through. We got a car trying to run the 4th lane right there. I believe that is the 64 machine of Takeshi, trying to get way up the racetrack. Big run down the front stretch once again. These front 2 have kind of been here the whole time, but wow, Chris with a big move there. He said he was going to be aggressive. He was going to shoot the gap, and he just shot a gap that was barely big enough for his car down into turn 1 between Chad Frankenfield and the inside wall. Here they come back down the front stretch, or down the back stretch, excuse me, with Presley out front. Trying to control this race from the front is Presley. It's been running here the whole race. Oh, contact! Oh, and we're wrecking. Big wreck here. Presley's involved.
Huge
Oh,
crash.
my goodness. I think RC's sitting over here somewhere. Oh, what a crash out here in turn number 3. Chad Frankenfield is involved. I believe the initial contact was between Chad Frankenfield and... Oh, the initial contact was between Presley. Presley and Chris with the initial contact. Presley gets down into Chad. Chris is going to have some pretty decent damage there, but nothing like what Chad is going to have. Nothing like what Presley is going to have. Very lucky that was only a 2-3 car crash right there.
Here we have it in slow motion to see what these guys are seeing.
I tell you, they're super lucky that more cars... Oh, who is that Pennzoil machine? I didn't see that car being involved.
Well, involved they were. Is that?
Or that's RC. That's RC. I did
RC,
see RC
yeah.
get involved. Yeah.
Huge crash. Let's take a look at it in full speed. See maybe if we get a different photo. Oh.
Just a little contact. 3 wide. No room for error when you're 3 wide like that. It's a little bit of contact, and we've got severely damaged cars afterwards. And RC and Presley have both loaded up and left. Here it is on board with Chad. You see nothing, and then you're looking straight at the outside wall.
He had to take a tow. Kind of be it for Chad for now, at least. Although I think I did see him clear his flag, but nope. Look, he's on pit road. Everyone down pit road actually.
Yeah, everybody's here getting tires. So they have decided to take their tires right here. Some guys might have some damage to fix. We're very lucky. That first, second, third wrecked right there, and nobody else was involved. That wreck could have taken out way more cars than just 3 or 4. But Chris talked about how aggressive he was going to be. And he was aggressive getting up through there, making a big move down into turn 1. He's going to be, I believe, the first car. Chris is still out here leading the race. James Watson looks like he's out there in second. I'm not sure what happened here. This was some kind of design pit stop, I think, Carlos.
Well, here's what I was told. There was going to be a scheduled pit stop that is a non-competitive pit stop, so I believe everyone will be getting their position back. Unless I misread what I was written. But yeah, competition yellow for fueling lap 20. No tires or position swap. Actually, we're not even at lap 20, so that's not even the competition caution. So never mind what I was saying.
They didn't call an audible.
Ooh, maybe.
Because he's telling everybody to line up where they were before they went into pit road. So I wonder if they can make it on fuel from here, and he just called an audible.
I would think they would be able to. It'd be pretty weird. If they couldn't make it from here. But anyway,
yes, I think that's what's going on. I think that's what's going on. It's like when NASCAR has a competition caution scheduled for that 45 because of rain, and they get a caution at lap 37. That kind of becomes the comp yellow, and I think that's what's happened here, is that Chad has called an audible and said, hey, we can just put the fuel in now, because he's telling people to line back up where they were before the pit stop, talking about how it wasn't competitive. So what you said there makes a lot of sense and kind of paints the picture.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Chris is going to give up the lead. He's kind of trying to take blame for that, I thought, but might have been talked out of that. Right, so we're going to restart with Chris out front. Harrison, Takeshi, James Watson, Dylan, Hunter Smith is the wave around there, going by everybody on the outside. Zach Evans, Brendan's up there. So a lot of guys still out here running. And I believe they're kind of loose on the rules tonight, so they'll be able to wave back on the lead lap. So I think Chad's sitting here trying to get his laps back at some point, or hoping he can get his laps back at some point. But the pace car is off. The field is in the hands of Chris. Green is out. Great jump up here at the front. Maybe a little bit too good of a jump. I think Harrison's going to have a big run here off of turn 2 if he chooses to take it. They fan out back there around 5th or 6th place. Big run for Harrison. Like I talked about, here he comes, moving way quicker than Chris is. And Harry back out front here in the Freedom 100 at lap 15 out of 40. Big wad of cars there at about 5th place on back. They are really slicing and dicing.
Yeah, these guys
going everywhere.
And the front 4 have separated, and now there's a battle for the lead again between these guys. They're close to making a 4-wide there for a second, but James Watson decided to just sit back and watch as Takeshi Kita goes on to the lead. And
back into the back of Harry.
Watson.
Oh, and here we go. This is the big one. This is the big one.
Huge crash. I'm not quite sure who exactly caused. I think it may have been Dylan Javier, who got loose and triggered that big wreck. Let's take a look, See what happened here.
I think before we even see the replay, I think what happened is
Oh, no.
it happens up in front of him. It's going to be Harry. The car, he lost the lead down into one, and he had a car turn right across his nose. And when you dump all that air on an open wheel car, they push. And I think Harry pushed. And when Harrison pushed right here, he pushes up the track, gets hit in the back, contact behind him.
Oh, man.
Oh, Josh
wow.
Osborne. Josh
We're gonna have to go
Osborne
on
was
board
an
with him.
absolute, just a car jump over there.
All right, if you get nauseous, look away.
My goodness.
He thought he had that wreck missed.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if Harrison had more open wheel seat time, he would have known that he was going to get tight down there in one when the car turned across his nose. But coming from the stock car side, he wasn't prepared for that severe push that happened.
Well, that wasn't Harrison that turned around, actually.
Yeah, but Harry's the one who stacked up. The car hit him from behind and then spun. Like, see here, if you ride on board with Harrison down into one.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the guy who gets that done to them might be mad at the guy who did it to him because you turn right across their nose. Like, if that happens in the Indy 500, when somebody turns right across the front of your nose like that, you're going to be frustrated because they're making the pass. You've got the pass. Just let me run this corner and don't dump a bunch of air on me going through the middle of the corner, because you can kind of be ready for it on corner entry, but when it's dumped on you in the middle of the corner, it's very frustrating as a driver because you're just along for the ride in some ways at that point. And Harry's still out there. I'm not sure he doesn't have some decent damage to the rear of his car there. And we are down to 12 car. Hunter Smith is going to get back on the lead lap. He's been getting the wave around for every caution, I feel like, and he's still out here. Mark's still out here running around. You see Hossack is back there. So we're about at that halfway point, Carlos. Who do you like to win this thing?
Oh, I like the way our current race leader, Takeshi Kita, has been driving. Started a bit deeper in the back, by deeper, fourth, I believe. Kind of just hung their way through there, made sure to be there, and then once a couple guys got involved in incidents, decided to take the lead, and not holding the lead with, of course, still 23 laps to go, plenty of time, but I have a feeling, I like the way that that number 64 is driving that track.
He's ran a smart race. He's tried to be clean. It's really hard to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go out here and I'm going to tell you who I'd like to see win this thing is Mark. He offered to pay everybody's entry. I think he did pay a few entry fees today. So I'd like to see Mark get up there, have his day in the sun as the restart is green. Another big run there for Takeshi. Harry's going to have a big run down the backstretch. Once again, we saw this play out the last restart. Big run. He's also going to have a big run coming from third there. Brendan's going to look to get around both of them. Harry has to check up, sit in line. Harry looks like he's a little gun shy after being a part of that last accident.
I don't fully blame him. Just kind of saw what happened.
Yeah, not wanting to take that big risk there and get that push going on again.
A lot of these drivers need to understand that them getting past doesn't necessarily mean it's the end of the race. It's okay to let somebody go by, and as long as you can get yourself there to the end, that's what really matters.
Yeah, and you see this pack is really split apart between 7th and 8th. You got a Leighton in 7th within 6 car lengths of the leader. And then it's over 2 seconds to Connor and Michael and Cale. Mark back there. So something must have happened there for that big gap to get created. And sometimes it's as little as, maybe somebody was sleeping on the restart. Maybe Connor wasn't ready for that restart.
It'll be the first time
Right
we've
now,
seen
this front
somebody
group.
just not be ready for that. As we are 3 wide for the race lead again. 20 laps to go
3
here.
wide, fanned out. Wayne's going to take the lead down into turn number 1. And I'm starting to see these guys push. We saw the push there out of Harry when it was dirty air, but it looked like the car in the middle of that 3 wide in turn 1 there had a pretty good push going on. So I believe what I heard there under that caution was that nobody could get tires this race, so they want everybody to run the tires all the way through. So we are going to see some tire wear, some significant tire wear at this rate as well.
That would be something to keep an eye on, see if there is tire wear, and or I should say how significant the tire wear is, and who's able to mitigate it the best. You can be there at the end.
Yeah, and you're starting to see these guys going in with these big runs down the front stretch and kind of get to the bottom and have to check up. I just saw the blue and yellow 11 of Zach Evans have a big lift down into turn 1, had a huge run down the front stretch and had to crack the throttle. And you're starting to see some more separation there. Some of these guys, looks like Harry's starting to struggle, starting to back up the guys behind him. That group back there, Connor, Michael, they got to get this figured out if they're going to have a shot to win this without another yellow. But we're 3 wide for the lead once again. And new leader down into turn 1 once again as Wayne retakes the lead.
Well, actually, Luis Gonzalez Nunez has taken the lead. As I believe he's showing up as ERN for you, but that is Luis currently. Well, was the race leader. Now Wayne is taking that lead as he's going to drive it in there into turns 3 here, side by side with Luis. As the advantage, well, it looks like both of these cars are evenly matched here.
Yeah, and that's something we didn't see earlier. We saw the bottom car just be able to make that pass and keep going, but now with that little bit of a push, here comes Harry with the big run. Harry's got to be ready for this push down here. You do not want to push up right now as you're fanned out 2 by 2, and you see him pushing off the bottom, having to have a big lift. And you're starting to see that. These guys suck up to these front 2, but they can't stay close through the corner.
Kind of looks like
These
we're doing
right fronts are starting to scream.
Yeah, it looks like we're doing pace laps here at like 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, and you're seeing a lot of these guys. When you get this big run, you're just going to have to take the lead. You know, Harry's going to have to try to get a big run out of 4. Try to go to the inside of 3 wide, shoot this gap, get that clean air on the nose. Right now, it's pivotal. A lot of these guys who understand what these cars are doing, what they're feeling, is they're 4 wide for the lead down into 1. Harry backs out. Harry backs out, and he did queue up and say, hey, I want no part of 4 wide.
Yeah, I mean, it's no longer kind of the early point of the race. We're now kind of deep into it, but still, you don't necessarily just want to have a full-born 4 wide unless it's like a handful of laps remaining.
Harry pushes up the track again here in turn 3. We're getting to that point in the race where, and Harry's gone. Harry has disappeared.
Oh yeah, he's back. Just a little bit of netcode issue. Or excuse me, latency issue as he's back on track, losing a couple spots, now down in 6th position.
It's Harry Houdini out there tonight. But what these guys who understand what these cars are going to do and what this race is starting to look like, it's going to become very important to get track position. You want to be in 1st or 2nd here because it's going to be hard to come from 3rd, 4th, 5th from this point forward because the tires are starting to wear. It's starting to get tight in that dirty air. It's going to be harder and harder to get those big runs and be able to close up enough. So time is running out. If you're in 5th, 6th, 7th, you have got to figure out a way to start picking these guys off 1 by 1. And right now, Connor, Michael, Kale, those guys have started really closing in on this front group. And they're going to be getting here with a huge run. They've kind of left Mark behind. You see, they have caught this front group now. Those 3 cars worked together very well and caught that front group.
Yeah, I'm going to highlight this section over here. a couple laps ago, some of these guys were 5 seconds behind the race leader, and now they've gained a bunch of time. I thought at first maybe they were damaged race cars who had struggled and were struggling to maintain the draft and their top speed, but maybe they were just saving tires this whole time. With 13 laps remaining, it's about time. You mentioned you got to start making moves, get yourself to the front.
Yeah, and a lot of times what I notice is when I'm hanging back like that, about the time I get to that front group is about the time we have a big crash and it lands right in my lap. So
Well,
I'm hoping I don't speak that into existence.
Anymore.
I just hope I don't speak it into existence, but that's just been my, that's what happens to me if I'm out here. But it's really hard to work this traffic, and you're seeing that out of those guys. They got there, but they haven't really been able to go anywhere. And you got to really be smart with your runs. You got to make sure you pick them off, you get clear. Not taking that big run 3 wide anymore on this front stretch or these front group. They know it can't hold. If you're gonna take it 3 wide, it needs to be early enough in the straightaway for you to get all the way clear to use all that racetrack to wash out. You see these front 2 get side by side. Big move there in the back. I'm not sure who that was. Kind of bob and weave there, and I believe that's an orange machine, maybe a pink machine, maybe a peach machine. That might be it. It's a little bit of a mix.
Yeah, I can see it.
These guys. You see this red car not going to take that look right now. Brendan stays in line. Just not taking these big runs like we've seen earlier, but I think you're going to have to. We're at 11 to go. Coming to 10 to go. I don't believe there's any green-white checkered, so we only have 10 laps no matter what happens. And here it is. He takes the big run. He's going to shoot the middle. Now he's going to he's not going to get clear to the bottom, but what he is going to do is upset that 18 machine. Now he's going to turn down the track. You see the push out of the second place machine there. And that's going to create a little bit of a log jam. That's going to create some big momentum from the guys behind him. They head down here for turn number 1 once again. Coming out of turn 2, they just so quickly have kind of lost that momentum back in the 5th, 6th, 7th place.
Oh, that was a little bit touch and go there, as Connor Thompson thought for a second about shoving it 3 wide in the middle, maybe trying to get the lead, and backed off, thinking still 10 laps to go. There's plenty of time for me to set up my move.
Yeah, and Connor has used some of the checkups and some of these guys being more cautious. He was part of that group that you had highlighted earlier that was, 5 seconds back? Is that what you said?
Yeah, at one point.
And now he's navigating this traffic way better than these other guys.
Those tires are fresher. Or I should say the tire wear is less severe compared to some of the other guys up in the front who have been racing up front the whole time.
And here he goes to the bottom side. See if he can make that work down there. He's got it stuck pretty well. You see that red car trying to run up in the 3rd lane, trying to get some kind of clean air on his nose. Honor's going to have a big run here down the front stretch. What does he choose to do? He's going to shoot the middle, back out of it.
He backs off. Which, I don't know, backing off like that and enter the corner was almost a little dangerous. A couple cars behind him, this red and orange-ish looking car almost ran into the back of him.
Yeah, I think he backed off because they were not trying to let him go through there. They were trying to be a little bit defensive there. And so he had to back off in order to save his race car. He feels like he can get that run again. And coming up right beside him is, I believe that's Kale, who was also part of his group that caught these guys. So Kale's got pretty good tires on his car as well right now. Kale's going to shoot the middle. 3x3 for the first 6 spots here. Connor backs out. Says, I don't want to be on the top of 3. Kale to the front. all of a sudden, guys who haven't been up here all race are showing these boys how much they've just been saving back there, how they've been riding around. Kale trying to break the draft, break the win. Contact! Holy smokes.
Sure, the
that could
radios
have been...
are being queued up.
These guys were... well, they're very lucky right now.
Ooh, a little tight there for, I believe that may have been either Takeshi Kita or Wayne Hunter.
And they're 3 wide down into 1 once again. You could see everybody behind that first car trying to run the bottom. They just can't do it. They just have to lift and crack the throttle, push up the track. I'm watching to see if Connor can weave his way back up here after he chose to lift earlier out of that 3 wide move, and it kind of killed his momentum and he lost all that track position.
Everyone's so bunched up, I don't really think you can like back off a little bit to try to get a run. If you back off a little now, you're going to lose a couple spots.
Yeah, and that's why I think Connor should have just sent it down in there. You know, here comes Kale. He's going to move to the middle. He's going to send it down in here in the middle. Sneaks up to the top, gets clear. Not clear to the bottom, but he got clear to the top. 3 wide for second, back to 2 wide. Kale's not going to be able to get it done just yet. Kale's may have to kind of back off here and get back in line. Try to get another big draft. That's what it's going to take at this point. Again.
Got the lead for a second, but now him and Luis Gonzalez are battling side by side for their race lead again. And I think Luis Gonzalez Nunez has spent about as much time 2 wide in this race as he has spent on the gas.
Yeah, and Luis has done a great job of having himself with this track position when he needed it most, right? You know, once this tire wear started happening, he's been able to kind of just wrap the bottom and said, go ahead, guys, get a big enough run to go around me. These guys aren't working together enough for them to back up and get a run together to pass him. And so he's got control right now on the bottom. It's going to take a huge run. It's going to take a huge run there for them to be able to pass Luis. And each time they look 3 wide, he defends it well. Moves down the racetrack, makes sure they don't get under him. Coming to 3 to go. In the Freedom 100, big run. He's going to shoot it. Oh, and Luis gave up the bottom, but Wayne hits the wall. Wayne scraped that inside wall there a little bit.
Gonna lose a spot.
Luis opened it up and then tried to take it away. I don't think Luis was very happy with the move that the 60 put on him earlier, but I don't think that Wayne's going to be too happy with the move Luis just did there.
Well, they're currently 3 wide for the race lead.
Yeah, 3 wide, back to 2 wide. And look at this. We got one car running way up through the marbles into the wall. We got a wreck.
No caution as this
Harry
is all... Oh my gosh. That'll be a tow for sure.
Pretty hurt. 2 to go. Are we going to stay green here for this? Yeah, into the wall. Green. The 60s into the wall.
That was my race pick, Takeshi. And yeah, Hunter has crashed in the backstretch. Also going to be taking the tow. No caution because this all happened behind everyone else. Battling 3 wide yet again for the lead.
Connor with a big move through the middle to take the lead. Now Connor's just got to protect that bottom.
Ooh, a couple tight cars. These tires are screaming to be replaced. As well, here we are, last lap.
Here comes Luis. Does Luis get clear to turn down? He does, and he's going to turn right across the bow of Connor. Connor has to lift. That's side by side. That might be all Luis needs. I don't know that they're going to be able to build a big enough run to get back to him.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like these cars suck up really good. He's weaving and snaking, serpentining through the backstretch.
And he is being told he can't weave, but that it's already over. It doesn't matter now. You know, it's easier to ask for forgiveness. He got way out there. He's out there far enough. They come off of turn 4. It's going to be Luis taking the win. Connor Wayne round out our top 3.
Yeah, great run by all these
Mark
guys
comes
to
all the
not
way to
have.
4th. We didn't get to document that, but Mark came all the way to 4th, and he was running by himself.
Yeah, also Zach Evans getting himself a nice top 5 finish. Great job on Zach. Elite Norgard 6th, Kilpa Cox 7th, Brendan Lichtenberg in 8th, Michael Hozak 9th, and Harrison Talion in 10th. And actually, that's going to be everyone that actually finished this race on the lead lap.
Yeah, and Harry's
Well, actually,
still
he's not
driving
done
around
yet.
out here.
Yeah, he's gonna finish though. That's what's most important. As he finishes this race, congratulations to Luis Gonzalez Nunez on getting that victory. You say you can hear him regularly on Thursday nights, right?
Yeah, I believe he does do the Indy Carb broadcast. So I believe for the Indy 500, you'll be hearing his voice after he's won over here in the Freedom 100. But Carlos, if you can we back up and take a look at that wreck with Harrison? Why he was driving back with the right front wheel that was just barely attached to the race car.
I'll see what I can do. Let me see if I can pull something up while Luis goes out and celebrates his victory here for the Freedom 100.
Yeah, and we're very lucky we didn't get a caution for that incident that involved Harry and those guys there, because I mean there was multiple cars that were wrecked right there. Here it is. We're going to get a guy up into the wall. He's going to come down right across the nose of Harry. And I thought Harry was going to have to tow at this point, but he made it live there for 2 more laps. You see what it is? You're just trying to run out there in clean air, but when you're up that high, you're in marbles.
And that was Takeshi Kita, who just got up too high and then hit the wall and then just spun out in front of Harry.
And what he might have thought is this place, before they came out with the new build, you could run all the way against the wall and get away with it. You know, that was a lane option. And I think he thought that option was going to be out there, but on this new build, you got the marbles. Once he got up there where people hadn't been running, you run through those marbles, she's going to quit turning.
All right, well, we do have Luis Gonzalez here in the waiting room. Why don't you go ahead and give him a winner's interview? Why don't you there, Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to take your job from you, Luis. If you keep racing like this, you're going to have to start racing these IndyCar races on Thursdays. So, talk to us about your race.
Yeah, pretty good race actually. I never thinking about to win today. I go to have some fun, and then I found it. I was on the front and tried to do my best to try to at least win the race. My heart was bumping a long time ago. I don't feel that feeling in myself. So it was pretty race, good race, and the car is very slow. I never thinking about it that slow and going third for 40 laps, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, and talk to us a little bit about how huge those runs are in these cars. You know, like you mentioned, the cars are slowed down. They're kind of nerfed on horsepower. They got a lot of drag on them, and we just seen absolutely humongous runs that guys could choose to take whenever they wanted.
Yeah, actually, this car is more faster than this. You have to waving around. Just left the throttle, but the car is different, really different. When I saw it today. And for sure, sometimes it's fun to have a pack race, but pack race in Indianapolis is not really fun. And but the car is in this condition is really kind of fun, but at the same time it's like it's too long, especially when I was first. So it's really takes long for the winner, for the win actually.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun on here when it doesn't hurt when you hit something, right? We saw some guys go up and into the catch fence. Nobody wants to see that in real life, but on the sim, it's a lot of fun to be a part of a pack race.
Yeah, you know what? To be honest, how mean be in the pack race. You was in Michigan last season, and it's really it's a stress to hear every time you're spotted inside, outside, or inside, or you see in the mirror coming the guy through to try to catch you. So it's it's not really. And sometimes you see in the broadcast it's fun, but at the same time it's not fun when you in the car try to race around.
All right, well, we'll end this interview here. I'm going to ask you what about the sponsors you want to shout out, and are you going to be running the rest of the Carb Day races? Because a lot of times guys will only run this one; they won't run the other three.
No, I have to go to P1 broadcasting because we have the fixer series now in Indianapolis. Actually, it's a week in Indianapolis, so I'm gonna step out until with the Indy Pro. So I'm gonna come back to Indy Pro and there. I don't have a sponsor, just P1 broadcasting. Also, remember for everyone, this Thursday, 7:45, we have the Indy 500. Piñeiro. Oh my God, I have I forget the lineup, but it's Piñeiro in the front. So here we go. It's Piñeiro, 40, and Craig Forsyth in the top 3. So it's gonna be really fun. Last year in season B, we have one only caution, only caution one, and have I think so 60-80 to go when Chad beat Adriano for nothing. So just stay tuned for that. We're gonna be me and Gary, or Gary and I. We're gonna be in the booth, so it's gonna be really fun. So don't forget about that.
Well, and you're going to talk about the Indy 500, so I'm going to ask. I hear Mr. Indy 500's in the field this year again, right? So can anybody beat him?
Oh well, he started for the back. Actually, really back. Actually, it's not on the back. Yeah, it's in the back. Robert Maleska. So I hope to have him around on the front, but Valeska is like that. So it's gonna be back, save the fuel, back, save the fuel, and at some point you see this guy on the front without show his talent. So I always said the last 60 or 30 laps is showtime. The first 100, 160 laps is just survive around the track. Also, it's going to be RC Anderson in the back in the last spot. That is a tough one because the condition on the track is really high. It's going to be really hot on the track, and you have to try to coming back from 33 to the front. The other thing also is Piñeiro is really trying to looking for his first Indy 500 and ERN or Water Sport Peace, and I still looking for that. So it's the leader for now, the Water Sport Peace, but I think so for put the cream at the top, like I said, Randy Savage is win the Indy 500. So it's gonna be interesting. Maleska is gonna be alone. It's no Oster tried to make the qualifying, but he have some blackout in his home, so he's gonna working by himself, and it's gonna be really fun to see how Maleska is going to the back, to the front, and let's see if he's coming to the front because everything gonna happen. Maybe in the first 5 laps gonna be gone and race over for him. So, but the main thing is the championship for all of these guys because it's double points, and for sure Stanley he need to be a win or maybe finish top 5 and try to Piñeiro don't win the race. So that's the most important thing. So it's gonna be really fun race, long race actually. It's gonna be long. But like I said, the last 30, 35, 40, or 60 laps to go, that's when we figure out who's gonna be in the victory lane, or maybe bring the milk that day.
Well, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like everybody needs to tune in at 7:30 on Thursday night and check it out because there's so many different storylines from the points to Robert showing up to RC being in there. There's so many different storylines that you're going to want to see it happen live. You don't want to hear about it later. So make sure you tune in and listen to Louise call a great race on Thursday night. And maybe it'll be caution free, but we'll let you jump out of here, Louise. And we'll see you at the short track here in just a little while.
Yeah, see you in a couple hours when I go over there again. I see what's happened. I never raced it with the US for the Indy Pro in there, but it's gonna be fun.
Well, you heard
All right.
Louise. It's gonna be fun. He's looking forward to it. His night's alright. His night, no matter what happens, is gonna be a successful night, even if he goes over there and wrecks on lap 1. So he's had a great night already.
That is true for sure. So we're going to go ahead and take a little break here as the Hoosier 50, which are the sprint cars at Lucas Oil, you can see in the background right now, they are currently practicing and they're going to be going, the race is going to be starting here at 7:45 p.m. So we'll be back just a little bit before, I think maybe during qualifying if we have it. I think we do have qualifying. Going to be going live around that time. So catch you guys soon.
And welcome back, everyone. We have had our little break, got us a little bit of something to eat there between these races. Had to jump in a helicopter. Chad spent the big bucks for Carlos and myself to helicopter across town.
I mean, it was only, what, like a 5-minute ride?
Yeah, that's all we needed. But they didn't land. We had to jump out of the parachute with a parachute, you know, so that was kind of exciting.
Yeah, unfortunately mine didn't go off, but at least you were still close enough to me that I could have just held on to you. So we all made it here safe and sound. And here ready for race number 2 of 4 of the 2025 Carb Day here for the Hoosier 50. I also want to give a shout out and a thank you to IndyCar1909.com for sponsoring this year's Carb Day festivities. IndyCar, past, present, and future. Check them out, IndyCar1909.com.
All these sponsors, man, they help us out so much. Give a shout out to all of them. IndyCar 1909 is here with us tonight. All these fans out here tuning in here on the Elite Racing Network and out here at the Speedway. Settled in to watch a sprint car race here. And I believe, what did you say? The Hoosier 50? That's what we got coming up next?
We got the Hoosier 50 here.
So it should be an exciting race. Qualifying's wrapping up here. It's going to be a lot of fun. You see RC right now out front, so he doesn't just have speed on the speedway. He's pretty good over here. You got Dylan there, Chad Frankenfield up there towards the front, Presley. A lot of the same players we saw at the front of the start of the last event. Here we are at a totally different track. Hunter Smith. There's Norgard. I don't think Higgins was over there. Higgins was already over here practicing the sprint car. Mark, they're out back. Hopefully, you know, I want to see Mark win one of these events tonight. Like we mentioned earlier, he stepped up and paid a lot of entry fees into this tonight and wanted a high turnout. So, sure would be nice to see Mark get him a trophy, a little bit of hardware, take home with him tonight.
Definitely doable. He's got the skill, and these races have been known to have a little bit of chaos. So, those factors combined, he should have a chance to win one of these. But yeah, qualifying almost wrapped up 15 seconds ago. I think everyone has made a lap except for those that don't want to. Only 14 cars scheduled to run this race, which is noticeable drop off from the first race, but that is expected as we have drivers kind of cycling in and out as the races go on by. But yeah, 14 drivers with Connor Thompson Gardner starting last and 14th for this one.
14 starters. We're going to run caution free?
No.
I don't know how these sprint cars drive.
No, chat's in the field. This is my one race a year where I can just roast Chad for everything that isn't even true.
And especially the things that are true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But it's going to be a fun race, though. I tell you that. Like, I remember this race last year. It was a lot of fun. These things really fly around the speedway. You see right there, we talked about it. Same order that we gave at the top of the broadcast. Harry's back there, didn't qualify. RC up there at the front. He's going to be the guy they're shooting for. We'll have to see if he can have a better finish, a better result over here than what he had at the speedway. You see Kale back there, Connor.
All right, so who do you think is going to be winning this race?
Well, somebody that was just on the screen here, one of these 14 cars, if I had to guess.
You don't think I have a chance of winning this one?
No, not unless you're rolling a sprint car out from pit road right now.
No. We don't get one for me this year. Maybe next year. Actually, I want after broadcasting last year, I wanted to do it for this year. But Chad hit me up and said, "Hey, can you do it again?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it for you." Here I am.
I think it would be fun to do that.
Yeah, maybe next season I'll be driving instead of broadcasting this.
I have no real interest in running the sprint car race or anything over here at the short track, but to be able to run the Freedom 100 one time, I think that would be fun.
I want to do the whole event. I want to do all the races. As a right pick, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I make fun of him a lot. I'm gonna go Chad. I think Chad is going to win this one. And here's a wild card. I don't think he's gonna cause a wreck in this one. Because last year that's right. Last year he caused a wreck in every single event.
But I think he won like half the races last year.
He won like half the races, but he was or excuse me, I should say, he was involved in a wreck in every single event. I don't think he actually caused a wreck in every single one of them, but he did. He was involved in every single a wreck in every single race.
Well, since you asked earlier and I gave you the whole field, I'm gonna say I think the 7 machine gets it done. Gavin's aggressive. I think this kind of car wants you to be aggressive around here. I think he's going to be the guy that gets it done. Look how dirty this track is right now. You saw the dirt flying off the 15. That lower groove is really dirty. Let's see if it's the same down here in 1 and 2. That's something to keep an eye on with this new build and these new dynamics that we. Well, I say new build. It's not new anymore. We're halfway to the next one, really. But the new track state and the way it all changes, it really affects what lanes are able to be used and how you have to use them, how easy you have to be when you first go to a new lane. So I'm very interested to see if there's some marbles up against the wall, some dirt down on the bottom. Might make for a great race. RC's going to have the field for a long way around turn number 3 and 4. Still waiting, still waiting, still waiting. It's a heck of a long time as the leader. He's gone, and a big jump there for RC. Down into turn number 1. He's going to roll the bottom. Chad's running the bottom, trying to get clear up to second in front of Dylan. He's able to get it done. Mission accomplished. Something's happened to Hunter Smith. His scoring is kind of wonky there. Falls through, gets back. There's Presley coming through in the 4th position. Battling for that 4th position.
Dylan Javier looking to
Norgar's
the
back
inside
there.
of Frankenfield there in turns 1 and 3 and 4, thinking about making a move, but with the way that all these cars kind of spread out, it's I have a feeling that the best time to make moves will be on the restart of the race.
Yeah, they've gotten single filed out with some distance freedom. This almost looks like a NASCAR Next Gen race. You're running close, but there's no real opportunity to pass.
Anderson is running the fastest lap of the race so far with a 20.20 rounded. As he gets a little close to that wall, but I think he's the only one I'm seeing get incredibly close to the wall. So maybe that's his secret. Looking on the top here roll bar camera of Chad Frankenfield.
I think RC's got a lot of secrets. RC sure is fast at a lot of places, you know, especially, you know, you go to a road course, you got to think about how RC is going to be the guy to beat with Ethan Stanley. So he's got something figured out there. He's really good at the short tracks too on a long run, so he's got something figured out there. Really good at some of these bigger tracks like Indianapolis, so RC's got a whole lot of secrets that make him good everywhere. You see Presley, he's working up there, up the hill a little bit. Maybe a little too far. Does get a big run there at Dylan off the corner. Dylan participating in his first carb day. Didn't have a good run over at the Speedway. Hoping for a little better showing over here in the sprint car race.
I mean, with 4 races, there's a mathematically good chance that you're going to have at least one good finish, and he already had one bad one. He's going to immediately turn it around here in this second race here, running in 3rd. And you know, honestly, no better way to
Ooh, Presley
turn around
into
a
the
bad
wall a
finish.
little bit. Presley got a piece of that wall. Presley's really pushing this lane. I'm not sure if this is going to be able. And he drops to the bottom, so he was really working the fence. Now he says, "I'm going to drop all the way to the bottom, see if I can surprise Dylan." Dylan fins it off, says, "Nope, I'm not going to get it down there."
Presley can't put the power to the pedal down until well after the corner ends, just because of the fact that he's got Javier on his outside. Goes into
Oh, and
the
he's in the
outside
wall.
Drove it in a little too deep. And overcompensates some more
is
to
it
lose
broke?
another spot. No, the car's fine. It's just I think he got his bearings all messed up. Lost 2 spots in that exchange.
Yeah, I thought he might have been broke the way he hit that wall. It seemed like he laid into it pretty good there, and there are no fenders there to break that wheel from hitting that wall. You're just putting that pull wheel and suspension right up into that wall. Presley was thinking he could force the young buck there. We talked about it being his first carb day, and Dylan up there, he's thinking he could force Dylan to a mistake. Instead, the veteran, that is Prestosaur, made the mistake. Now he's going right back after Hunter Smith here. Going to try to make this pass happen. We're already working lap 12, working lap 13.
James Watson making a move onto the inside of Gavin Higgins, or at least he's trying to. So you can easily tell which car James Watson is in. It's always usually the brightly colored neon pinks or yellows or greens on the track, and this one is all of them.
And you know what the first thought comes to my mind is when I see that thing coming at me head on? It looks like somebody just threw a bunch of Skittles.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like somebody threw a bunch of Skittles and he just drove through like a billion Skittles and they just splattered everywhere.
Listen, he's out there trying to taste the rainbow every single lap.
Yeah, and he is trying to get up there. He's got 3 guys right in front of him. Presley trying to work around the 54. I think Presley's pretty good, but he just cannot. Oh, and Hunter Smith gives him the top. Hunter pulls down the racetrack, says take the top. And now if you're Hunter, you got to defend, because if you give it to one guy, there's a line of cars there that are going to try to pounce on this as well. Hunter squeezing back up like he's wanting to get back in line, but Gavin's going to get around him. Watson, I don't think Watson's going to have to. Oh, contact down into one. Gavin saves it. Hunter says, I'm not letting everybody go. I'm getting back in line here behind that 98.
Yeah, the last thing anybody wants to do is give up a spot here, so we can already see passing. It's almost non-existent with the speeds that these cars achieve and how much grip they have. It's you're really going to have to use your lack of a bumper. You have to use some elbow grease to get past some of these guys, once everyone starts settling in. So outside of that, your best bet would be on a restart. But 18 laps into this 50-lap race, it's looking a little hard for anybody to even get to the bumper of anybody else. Or I guess the what do you call those little support pieces around the car?
I like what you said with the bumper, sticks out.
Bars.
That's bumper.
I think that's what they're called.
Yeah.
Harrison
You're seeing it
Italian is
every
off
car.
track.
We got to pass. Oh, Harry's in trouble. Oh, that's not good for Harry. Well, he's 2 for 2 on bad races, and you said you're bound to have one good one, right? So Harry's going to have a good one later, based on your math there.
I said statistically you have a good chance to have one good one.
Are you trying to say Harry might be the exception? Is that what you're saying already?
No. All I'm saying is that statistically speaking, it's a good chance you're going to have at least one good one. Not saying it's guaranteed.
Yeah, we're just trying to have a little fun. I know Harry's watching. I know he watches and has some input from time to time, and he's got a lot of teammates that watch. So any chance we could take a little bit of a shot at Harry and know that it's going to get back to him all in good fun. As you see here, the 7's starting to struggle. I've seen him wiggle. Now he's in the wall a little bit. The 60 back there trying to move his way forward. This is the most side-by-side action we've seen all race. So I say that, they go ahead and single file out like they know we were watching all of a sudden. With that Zach Evans there with a big wiggle off of 2. Zach looks to be struggling mightily right here.
I think he just wasn't able to get the initial start of the race that he wanted to. There's a couple more drivers I'm showing is off track. There goes a 12. Dirt tracking it there on the grass.
Yeah, he said, I think we should be racing on the dirt, and just cut down through turn 3 and 4 there. Did the 12 machine for Leighton Norgard, and Watson's going to get by. So I wonder if these guys are starting to wear out the right rear a little bit. They're starting to really struggle with rear grip coming off the corner. Well, I guess you struggle with rear grip when you get a little bit of contact from behind. That'll really upset the car.
I'm over here thinking, it's like, I really don't know if these tires are going to be wearing too much. They're very light, and there's a lot of grip on these cars, on these tires. But I mean, I don't understand the way these tires are made up. So for all I know, they're very, very fragile.
Yeah, I thought the car was fragile itself, but we've seen them hit the wall and keep going. We've seen the guy save it down there in the grass and keep going. So I think these cars might be a little bit tanky. They just don't look it.
And that kind of goes to what I was saying, is we are on the halfway mark of this race, still caution-free so far. Although these guys have been trying a little bit, as 27 and a 7 both smacked the wall just a little bit. As they, I'm starting to think maybe these tires are starting to lose traction.
Yeah, and I believe something happened to Dylan as he lost a spot in a bunch of time there lap or so ago, and you're seeing RC's got a 1.5 seconds and it's growing. You see that gap just, well, now it's going to shrink now that I said that, but 1.5 seconds, he's kind of been pulling away from Chad, and it's nearly 5 seconds to Presley. So those front two are really going from everybody, and RC's kind of giving Chad the goodbye.
Yeah, for a while it was just RC and Chad pulling away from everyone else, and then these two guys were about 0.3 to 0.4 of a second separated. But now Frankenfield's just not able to match Anderson's speed, and slowly he's losing 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 tenths of a second a lap, and that's starting to add up as someone goes around. Caution is out. That was Mark Rabidas who went a lap down and then had an issue there.
Broke.
And that car is definitely broken.
Oh, and she's going to hit again. And,
you're gonna need
a fan's getting a wheel. Some lucky fan is going to get a wheel.
Well,
and
let's take a look
now
and see
RC's
what
thinking,
happens.
This was really awkward. We were kind of looking at it, just driving straight, and all of a sudden, just she'd lose his traction. And now, see, that makes the car look fragile. He didn't look like he hit that hard, but she was broke. So maybe it's all in how you hit. And then it just quits turning here. The struggle was real. Riding on board here, just nothing out the front. You're just driving straight, and all of a sudden.
Oh. Okay, so this is just wheel spin. When he tried to pick up the throttle there on the straightaway, the car just went around. You could hear right there on the in-car view as that car just lost traction and just spun out completely. So that's going to take him behind the wall. And with 19 laps to go, I don't think there's going to be enough time to get that car repaired.
That's a good thing for these last 19 laps, though, because I think that means these tires are wearing. These guys are going to have to deal with old tires here. They're not just going to grip you up like they did the start of the race. RC for sure didn't want to see this caution because he was gone. Chad, probably mixed feelings, but knowing that it's carb day and you just want to win, Chad probably wanted the caution. And Presley and Dylan, Hunter, all those guys are like, we had to have a caution.
The perfect opportunity for Chad to go Chad wide and try to figure something out here, as he's going to be the first one to say, it's like, I had to do it. Type of racing, I had to do it, and I have a feeling there's going to be contact from somebody out here on track, as we are on potentially the only attempt at a restart here for the night. So all these guys have got to go.
Yeah, and man, Chad's going to have to be aggressive like you said, but I just don't know. I think RC was just kind of pacing there. Green is out. RC gets away. Lots of wheel spin back through the field. You see all these cars bobbing and weaving. Chad drives right to the bottom on these old tires. That's going to open the door up for Presley. Oh, contact, nearly contact. Presley's in the wall. Chad with a big send into 3, trying to do a little bit of a slide job, but he backs out of it. And they're right back to how they were on the restart.
Yeah,
Presley down into the wall again.
I'm not quite sure if there was initial contact there between Anderson and Frankenfield, but Chad made a move there on that restart and it almost worked. I wonder if he just didn't want to get back up to that top side or what, because once these cars actually did get fully up to speed, RC Anderson with the advantage on the outside was able to hold on to that race lead without further issues, as Chad just couldn't get that car rotated quick enough.
Yeah, and they're both putting it in the bank. Chad's like, hey, I see what he did there on that restart. I'll be ready for whatever move he might make the next time if he makes the same move. And RC says, if we have that caution again, I seen what Chad was going to do, and I'm going to have to take that away the next restart. But right now, it looks like RC has gotten back control of this race, back pulling away. Chad's really good into the corner, and I think that's part of why Chad was falling off. You see Chad just drives way deep down into the corner. RC gets this thing pointed, gets a great exit. Chad is staying a little closer right here. I think it's going to take a slide job type of deal for Chad to be able to make this work. He's going to have to really send it into the corner and just slide all the way up the racetrack to make that work. RC's giving him a lot of top right now.
Yeah,
Presley's looking on, just a couple car lengths back.
Right there goes Chad to the inside.
He's going to have to send it, though. He's got to take a big send. RC's way up the racetrack. Nearly contact. Now he's going to have to try to do it again. And Presley's just watching on saying, you guys go ahead. All it's going to take is you guys to get bobbled up one time, and I'll be able to pass you both.
That smoke you just briefly saw there, I believe that came from Kilpacock and possibly Brendan Lichtenberg is... Brendan's down pit road, Kale is down pit road. Something must have happened between those guys, but I don't want to cut away just yet.
Yeah, we gotta stay on this battle for the lead. I think RC, look at, he's been wiggling, and Chad's wiggling now too. These guys might have really cooked these rear tires. And you see RC really struggling on corner exit now. He's still giving up the entry, but he's not getting the exit that he had earlier. And so Chad is close enough to make a big move. There it is. RC's going to slide up the track, back down. And Chad's just sitting there. Chad's got to be thinking, hey.
A little bit of wheel spin there, trying to fully throttle up. I think these tires are starting to fully give way on just how much power they can put down.
Telling you, this is going to be exciting if Chad's this close on the last lap. RC seems to be really struggling right now compared to Chad, and they both have started pulling away from Presley once again.
Yeah, we're on board here with Chad, and you can just hear him. Hold on. He's hesitant to put full throttle down until they actually fully get to the straightaway. And I'm assuming that's going to be the same case with RC Anderson. And it's just going to be of who can put the throttle down fastest while maintaining a good momentum off the exit of the corner. That's going to be the key
and
to
with
victory.
every lap, knowing that this is not a points race, knowing that there's nothing to be gained from finishing second,
Well, that was a
you're only
bad
going to
angle
remember the
entry.
winner. You're only going to remember the winner. You're going to push it a little more. RC, big wiggle right there. And on the last... Oh, contact! Drives down into the back of RC there like he's looking for a little bit of a bump and run. Nearly contact again. RC's really trying to defend. Chad's trying to be aggressive. They're going to make contact again. RC's going to go around. They're both around. RC is going to be...
Oh, no!
RC pulls right back across the track in front of the 7, who then has to spin out.
RC
And
is
I am
just
telling you
seeing
what...
red.
Oh, I'm sure that RC is giving Chad the what for. Oh, my.
Oh, if I could
this is
turn
what I
on
was talking
comms right
about.
now.
This is what I was talking about. Presley was sitting there in third, like, you guys
Uh-huh.
keep going, you guys keep going, and they finally went too far, and now Presley's sitting there as the leader.
Chad almost got away with that one after he made contact. If he had maybe just hit the brakes a little more, wouldn't have gotten caught up there. Actually, I wonder if maybe iRacing... Oh! I thought the 7 did make contact with the 50 Anderson, but it looks like the 7 panicked, hit the brake, and spun himself out to avoid RC. So good on the 7 there of Gavin Higgins to survive that race car. But, yeah, it looks like Frankenfield and RC Anderson are going to be dropping to 6th and 7th. As, let me see if I can go back and find that incident with Kilpacock and possibly Brendan Lichtenberg.
Here they come off of turn number 4. Oh, one's in the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other one just nowhere to go. Very surprised that did not give us a yellow.
No yellow, but both of
And
these cars
broke.
were damaged.
And it's broke, so he's really having trouble getting it going.
I don't think
And
any
now
of
we're
these
sitting
guys
here.
are in the booth. No, the only 2 guys in the Discord channel are James Watson and Zach Evans. Maybe we'll have a word with one of these guys if we don't have one to go right now. We have one to go right now.
And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a one-lap shootout because there are no green-white checkers. So it's going to be a green and white. It's going to be an ARCA restart right here. We're going to have the green and the white at the same time. Dylan sitting there. What is he willing to do? I mean, it all comes down to the restart. You got to get a good restart. But he's sitting there, his first carb day. I'm sure he would love to win. Presley's sitting there knowing that those other two took him out. We'll see what happens here on the restart. The restart is actually the race right here. Watson's laying back just a little bit. Green is out. Presley gets a good restart. So does Dylan. Dylan's going to pack it down in there on the bottom, see if he can make it work. Presley's going to increase the gap 2 car lengths, nearly 3 car lengths. Come through 3 and 4. It's going to be Presley Sora with the gift from Chad Frankenfield. Dylan's going to get second. Reckon behind him for 4th. But Watson, Evans, Norgard, RC comes home 6th. Higgins, Smith, and Frankenfield round out our top 9. And our only 9 finishers. Everyone else was out of the race.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to Frankenfield that caused him to finish 9th, because he was restarting right behind Anderson. Oh, I see Frankenfield did get involved in an incident. Same thing with Higgins there. Oh wait, no, excuse me. That was a previous caution.
Look at that. That is the coolest car to do donuts in. That thing was rocking and rolling right there. Presley slowed it down here a little bit. It must have been too much for him. He might have been feeling a little bit dizzy.
Yeah, I don't fully blame him. We're going to see if he's going to hop on in here to the Discord, have an interview. If not, then maybe we can talk to both of the Team Watson Racing drivers, as they're both here in the Discord chat by themselves. They got themselves a respectable 3rd and 4th, and Zach Evans now with 2 top 10s here tonight. Yeah,
and I mean, the big story there, you know, we're halfway through the night, but we got tempers flaring over here at the short track. Chad and RC, and they got 2 more races left to run together. Will we see that carry over? Now, it's going to be hard to see that stuff carry over on the open wheel stuff, but it is a possibility.
We do have race number 2, the Hoosier 50 winner, Presley Zora, as Chris. Why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Yeah, I am down here with Presley. Presley, talk to us about the race you ran, and then talk to us about the gift that Chad Frankenfield gave you there off of turn 2.
Yeah, I will take gifts like that any time of the day. We will take that. I feel like my race up to that point was pretty decent, except for one little mistake, like 10 or 15 laps in, where I caught the wall on entry 1 and lost a couple spots. But once I found a rhythm, I feel like I was pretty good, and I feel like I could hold pace with Chad and RC. I don't think there's any way that I could have gone up there and just straight up passed them. So, yeah, I appreciate Chad for throwing me a bone there, but I said here in my Discord and on my stream, I said, as long as I can stay close enough to him here to capitalize if they get together, then I'm in good shape. So I stayed about 7 or 8 tenths back, and sure enough, there were 3 or 4 laps to go. Chad turned him.
Yeah, did you expect to see that coming? Did you know those 2 guys and Chad being aggressive as he is, were you kind of like not surprised there off of turn 2?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it could have been a coin toss. I think they both raced really clean, but at the same time, I could tell immediately off that last restart there, I guess, with 2 restarts left, I could tell that they were going to push each other to the edge. So they were not given any room. I mean, they were down there 2 or 3 inches off each other's wheels and stuff. So I knew after I saw Chad make a few moves to the inside that it was going to get a little sketchy, but I wasn't sure if there'd be contact or not. But then I saw him move him in turn 3. They made a little bit of contact a lap or 2 before the crash, and it's like, okay, these guys might get together here, and sure enough, about a lap or 2 later, they did.
Yeah, we were very surprised to see the bump and run attempted down there in these cars. Is that something that could work in these cars, or was that just wishful thinking and it kind of ended the best way it could before the wreck?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's wishful thinking. I think, honestly, with these cars, with how, I mean, they're open wheel, I think you're running just as much of a risk as turning yourself as you are turning the guy in front of you or moving them. So I don't even know if Chad meant to do it. I think he just sailed it off in there a little bit deeper than he was hoping to and got into him. But yeah, I can't believe RC saved it. Like, he had to wheel that thing because these things are already out of shape enough. I mean, we're just about wrecking down the straightaways. So the fact that he saved that, I saw him hit and I thought they were wrecking right there. So props to RC for saving that one, but he couldn't really save the one 2 laps later.
Well, all right, Presley. Before we let you jump out of here, are you going to be joining us for the next 2 races and shout out for sponsors and whatnot?
Yeah, I will be joining you for the next 2. These next 2 are actually my favorite 2, so I'm pumped up. I love the USF 2000 car. I love the Indy Pro. I think it was maybe the Indy Pro back in 2024B that I won by like 15 or 20 seconds. Like, I was digging. So hopefully we can do a little bit more of the same for that. But yeah, I mean, shout out to you guys for putting this on, and Chad, obviously. So I'm just pumped up. I'm excited to get going on Thursday for the 500 and starting P5 in it. So hopefully it'll be another good run. I'd really like to win the thing, so I think I'm in a pretty good spot to do that. And hopefully this won't be the last time I'm talking to you guys tonight.
Well, all right, Presley. Congrats on the run. Go and win one straight up. Don't wait for Chad to clear the track for you here. And like you said, come back and talk to us tonight. But if you don't, good luck on Thursday as well.
Right on. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so now I think we're gonna go ahead and take another quick break while we get ourselves situated here for the next race. The next one coming up here being the USF the Freedom 50. Had that wrong, which involves the USF 2000 cars at Lucas Oil. So we're already at the track. We just need to get ourselves set up for it. So we'll take a couple minutes break. That one's scheduled to start at 8:45 p.m. So a little bit longer of a break than the first one, but we'll be back here during qualifying. So see you guys then.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Elite Racing Network, where we are about halfway through our night, getting ready to start race 3 of 4 here with qualifying. Chad Frankenfield, as we open this up, goes to the top of the board here. He had quite the exciting race last race out, and right now he's put himself on the pole with Presley Sora right beside him as this wraps up. We're not quite finished yet, so can't just give it to him yet. Josh Osborne up there in P3. I am not even going to take a shot at 4th. You want to take a shot at that there, Carlos?
Camargo.
I would have never guessed that. But right now he's sitting in P4. The times are very tight. I mean, we got a 2012 on the pole, and a 2019 puts you 5th. So, time's super close, super tight. We got Mitch down there not qualified, Mark not qualified, Hunter's back there in the back. RC and Chad separated by quite a bit here, and that's going to be the talk of the town coming out of that last event. So it'll take some effort for RC to get up there towards Chad.
Yeah, I'll be real interested to know or to see if RC would do anything against Chad, or if he's just going to like let bygones be bygones for, you know, a fun event as tonight has been.
I think being an open wheel car, it would be really hard for him to go out there and just say, I'm going to hit the guy, because like Presley said, it could wreck you just as easy as it could wreck the guy in front of you. So you might not give him any extra room, but it's really hard to just drive in there and hit somebody. It's not like it is in a stock car. And Chad Frankenfield is going to be on the pole with Presley, Josh Osborne, James is right there, Camargo right there, Dylan's back there, RC, Gavin Higgins, Kale, Leighton, Wayne, Thomas, Brendan, Hunter, and then Mark and Mitch did not qualify, did not put a time down to qualify. Well, they did qualify. They just did not practice. That's where it's cleared out.
That's what it is, yeah. Up to 4, like less than half a second separates all 16 drivers. So that's 2 more than last race. So good size field. As we got people who aren't here anymore that were in the first 2 races, like Zach Evans, and a couple drivers who are making their first start of the night, like Camargo, our only international driver on the field right now, number 59 in 5th place for Brazil.
Yeah, and I don't think Mitch has been with us yet tonight. Has Thomas been here? Yeah, I think this might be Thomas's first run of the night as well. So guys just kind of coming in here when they're able. Should be an exciting event. Cars are going to be flying around here. I mean, they're going to be hauling. This is another 50 lapper.
This should be, I believe, the last 50 lapper of the night.
So, as we get ready to roll, I think Mark's trying to stir some stuff up in here.
He's trying to what?
Mark just asked about the finish of the last race.
Well, the finish of the last race, let's see, if you're a Chad Frankenfield fan, you're going to say he did nothing wrong. If you're an RC Anderson fan, you're going to be cussing up a storm about Chad Frankenfield for the 50th time. But yeah, Presley Sora, who hung in there in 3rd the majority of that last race, got gifted that lead position due to Chad Frankenfield making contact with RC Anderson, and held on to win a race.
Yeah, and you were right about what you predicted last race. What's your predictions for this race, and do you have a winner out here?
Yes, I think Watson's going to finally pull through.
No. As the green comes out, nothing on Chad here for this race.
No, Chad blew his chance. I think Chad's gonna have somebody do something to him in this race because I think people have had enough.
Well, the race has started. We've quickly single filed out. Once again, looking kind of like the sprint car race. They are side by side back there where RC is trying to work the bottom, but it's going to be a tough pass to make there. He might be able to make it. And now we're single file here for the first, 7 cars?
Yeah, this one may be
Now we got
another
another
one
car.
that's just hard to pass with.
And I can't say I'm surprised with this one being hard to pass. I kind of expected that coming in. These guys got a lot of downforce. These cars are a little bit faster, as far as straight line speed than we had in the sprint car. Lots of grip, a little bit wider of a race car. Not surprised at all by the fact that we have single filed out here really quick, and we have done so with Chad Frankenfield out front, Presley, then Josh Osborne, James Watson. A battle. I mean, there really isn't a battle until you get outside the top 10 or so, maybe right there at 10th.
We
You got Hale and Layton.
We got Ray Bracey from Quick Shits fame saying down with Chad. So Ray is not a fan of Chad's antics this race so far.
Well, I think Ray needed to be in here. I think he does that the audio stuff there. I can't think of the name of it right here off the top of my head. Quick Shifts, there it is. Yeah, I was thinking Radioactive. Elite Radioactive is what I was going for, but he needed to be in that last race there to get some great content. Right now, these guys just single filed out, separated out, spacing each other out. This is the most frustrating thing as a driver. Oh, contact! Gavin's around, wrecking in the back.
No.
We're going to fly into this wreck. And 3 guys are absolutely destroyed back here on the backstretch. I see Wayne's in it. A Layton is in it. Gavin Higgins was the first car that went around. But I believe Gavin had some help. Here we are side by side, a little bit of contact. Not a whole lot of give, and just like that, 3 cars are done for the night.
Oh yeah, one of
They're
those
driving
is just
away.
literally dragging their tire.
Yeah, as they're driving away, they're leaving enough debris back there to build another race car between the 3 of them. Just nowhere to go. Just right into the wreck. And, I mean, that right front's barely touching the ground. It's wobbling. Not the way you want your race to start, but I think that's a little bit of a product of just being hard to pass out here. It's really hard to make a pass, so you gotta be aggressive doing it, but man, lap 8, it's hard to do that on the 8th lap of the race.
As expected, all 3 of these drivers do have a meatball flag, so their night is done unless we have quick repairs.
Based on the way they're sitting in those pit boxes, I do not believe they have quick repairs. I believe they are done. Gavin has left. He's parked it.
He has decided that's enough. 1 to green already. Chad Frankenfield leading the first 10 laps of this 50-lap race here. The 3rd of 4 races here for the 2025 Carb Day here. Carb Day festivities. Brought to you by... I had it in here. Where is it? Brought to you by IndyCar1909.com. IndyCar, past, present, and future.
And right now, Chad is hoping that in the future, for him, as a matter of fact, exactly 40 laps in the future, he's hoping to take a checkered flag. We'll have to see if he can do that as he gets a great restart. Field gets away. Josh Osborne's going to give up the 3rd spot. That was about the best opportunity to pass, and James took advantage of it. Osborne's going to try to go right back towards this bottom side, try to make it work. Is he going to? He tries to clear up. He's not clear, and we are wrecking on the front stretch once again. Osborne, Watson.
Ooh.
a big one. We've lost half the field here.
I am now 3 for 3
Think
in
Os-
correctly calling out a driver who is going to crash. And by correctly calling out, predicting them to win and then having them get involved in incidents.
I think what happened there was Osborne tried to come back around Watson. Tried to clear up, and he was not clear off of 4. Here it is. He's trying to slide up, still out there. They make contact. There's a 3rd car getting involved, a 4th car getting involved. I think that 5th car, the gold and black car, is going to be okay.
Yeah, I guarantee you, for sure, one message did get queued up during that incident, and it was probably not clear.
Yeah, so James Watson, Josh Osborne, Dylan's down there in the wreck. We've talked about him a little bit tonight. We talked about the 97, it being his first race of the night. Well, it was a short race. It's, lap 12. And his night is cut short. Getting super lucky there. That was Mark in the gold and black car that did the half spin as the parking lot was down there going into turn number 1. We started with 16. Based on my math, we are down to 9. We still have Josh Osborne running, but once he hits his pit box, that thing's not going to be allowed to go back on the racetrack. This is, I think all the cautions came to this race right here.
Well, now
And
that
Thomas
we
is
have,
headed home.
Yeah, now that we have almost half the field out of this race, it's going to be less likely for there to be a chance of a caution.
One thing that is happening here is RC and Chad are coming closer together as half the guys that were between them just wrecked down there in that pile. Green is back out. Another good jump there for Chad. Taking off over Presley with RC right there behind him. You got Kale. You got Camargo back there. Hunter Smith. All the way back to Mitch in 9th. You see here this field is just dwindled to nothing after these 2 huge crashes here.
If one more driver retires from this race, then we will be at half of the cars out. But for the time being, we have just over half, with Javier in 9th place, 2.5 seconds off of Chad Frankenfield, who has led wire to wire but is now being threatened by last race winner Presley and Sora.
Yeah, maybe Presley just lets RC go and says, does lightning strike twice? Ooh, Presley pushes real bad there on the exit of 4.
As a racer, that's hard to do, just willingly let somebody go. But, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I think that may just be the play.
It may be the show, too. Like, if he gets around him, those, Chad and RC might even put on a show for second. I mean, we saw it at Rockingham last night in the Mark Rebelos Photography Series. That those 2 out there, well, it wasn't those 2, it was Chad and Gerald Campbell were the show last night for the first half of the race until they had an incident out there, and it was just one of those things where I feel like sometimes you just get hung with a guy, and it was Chad and Gerald last night. Tonight it's Chad and RC, and there's still a race to run after this, so these 2 might not be done yet.
After the Freedom 50 here, we're going to have 75, our last 75 laps for the Freedom 75.
Yeah, and right now we're in that spot where we're long enough after a restart where it's really hard to make a pass. Presley's trying to make a pass. Chad's going to slam that door shut. Everybody's running in dirty air with the exception of Chad. Just lined up. Going to take a pretty big sin to make something happen. And with the cars being out and the cautions, probably not going to see lap traffic where it'll it would make it equal for all the cars, including the leader, for Presley to try to make that pass. So it's going to be really tough for them to pass Chad here. And Mitch is already 6.5 seconds back, so they might catch him before the end of this thing. Mark is nearly 4 seconds back. So they might get into a little bit of traffic before the end of this race if it stays green, as we are working the halfway point of this race right now. These front three, Chad, Presley, RC, feel like they've been first, second, and third for the last, I don't know, 100 laps that we've been watching.
And Presley was making moves, but has calmed down a little bit. RC Anderson, a little bit of a gap, but could just be saving his stuff. You know, RC Anderson, a very smart driver. Nieje Camargo also in fourth, up 1 spot from where he started. Kale Peacock up 4 spots from where he started. And Hunter Smith, I think the biggest mover so far, plus 8 spots, started all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, and Hunter just had to miss the wrecks, and he was going to gain spots pretty much. And like you mentioned, RC's starting to have a gap there. And like you said, could he be saving his tires? Could he be starting to struggle? Could he just be trying to get a little bit more clean air and not quite running hard and trying to hope something happens? But Presley's made taken a couple of looks, but he hasn't really attempted to make a pass on Chad in quite some time. Waiting to see how these tires wear over the course of the run. Maybe hoping Chad has burned his off a little bit. We will see. I will say I'm a big fan of that paint scheme that Chad is running. That petty blue there, it looks pretty great. And
It stands out.
I cannot be certain, but I believe that is the scheme or close to the scheme that John Andretti made his last Indy 500 start with. And Chad did get a little sideways. You see that?
I heard it. I was looking at the map on my other monitor, but I did hear the tires squeal.
Yeah, it looked like he got a little bit loose down in the middle of that corner, and Presley closed right up to him. Chad is not going to be an easy pass. Not at all. I mean, I would almost venture to say, to make this pass, Chad's going to have to make a pretty big mistake, or you're about going to have to wreck him. Like, Chad's going to put you in a spot where the only way to pass him is if you get into him. They're both running right there.
Yeah, you can almost. We're on board with Chad. You can almost kind of hear those front tires squeal.
Yeah, what I'm watching here is the wheel to see if there's any inputs back to the right, but it looks pretty stable there. A little bit of input back to the right there, a little bit of give back. Nothing crazy, but you're not going to see any. If you see any kind of big moves back to the right, like you're able to do in a stock car, it's in an open wheel car. It's that if you're turning that far back to the right in a corner, you're probably hitting something.
Yeah. I think Chad is struggling with. I think he's overdriving the beginning of the corner, and he's lacking some momentum on the entry. But while he's lacking that, he is making up for it on the exit of the corner. He's able to pull away slightly from Presley Sora, as Presley's taking it a bit easier. Well, he's taking a higher line. He's able to do that because I think that his tires are in a bit of better condition than Chad's were, and Chad's just taking a purely defensive line towards the middle, and while it's kind of helping him, it's I think towards the run of these last couple of laps, it's gonna be what causes Presley to catch back up to his rear bumper.
Yeah, Chad's sitting out here, like you said, he's driving pretty defensive. He's running that defensive line. Presley's able to move around the racetrack because he doesn't have any pressure from behind from RC, so Presley can kind of move around, try to get a big run, and like you mentioned, Presley's got a little bit more of a diamond. He enters a little higher, turns down across the racetrack, drives straighter up off, whereas Chad is running a more typical line. You know, this seam right here, it de-wedges the car because there's less banking underneath that seam versus above that seam. There's a little bit more banking. They got progressive banking here. And so what Chad's doing is he's running right at that seam, and Presley's kind of moving up the racetrack for more banking and driving straighter off across all the banking, allows him to get a great run on the exit. But it's so hard to pass. It's still going to take a mistake from Chad or quite a big move from Presley as we come to the line to see 10 to go. And you see a lap car out in front of them. Right now it is a two-man race as RC is nearly 1.25 seconds back. They catch this lap car. What is the lapper going to do?
As Mitch Javier
He's going to run.
Getting out of the way.
Yeah, great move there. I thought for a second that he might run in Chad's line right there, and that would have surely made things exciting off of that corner.
It looked a little close, but speaking of looking a little close, there he goes! Presley Sword to the inside of Chad Frankenfield.
Can't make it stick down there. He needs a little bit more banking. He needs all that exit. He needed to get clear. Couldn't quite do it.
He might need to start getting physical with Chad.
Getting physical in these cars. Open wheel car, it's really hard to get physical. But he does know firsthand, after seeing it happen last race, that Chad was willing to get physical. So that might play into his mindset a little bit. Like, hey, if I saw what he was willing to do to try to win one of these races. Oh, and Presley nearly into the wall. Had to check up off of 4. This is where if you're Presley, you got to get calmed back down, get back in your rhythm, go back to running the line that got you there. You can't do anything from this far back. You've got to get closer than this to be able to have a shot later. There he goes. That was a good corner. Back in that rhythm. Back into that diamond. Chad's trying to block the air a little bit. Chad's now started trying to run up the track and turn across the track as well. And that's only going to make Presley tighter. Just 4 laps to go, and Presley's going to have to get a little bit closer to make something happen. He can't make it happen from this far back. You see right there, Chad's widened out his entry a good margin here. Presley's still closing. Oh, Chad with the slide right there in the middle of the corner. You saw that. You saw the car slide. Chad's pushing really hard. Presley way up the track is going to get a big diamond here. Can he carry the throttle? He does.
It's so much speed.
2 laps to go here. Big run here off of 2. He's going to have another good corner down here in 3 and 4. Oh, look how high Chad is up there to block him. And that's going to get Presley tight. It's going to get him to push. He's going to lift. I think that's it right there. I mean, I'd like to see him get closer and give us a great finish, but that right there off of 4, that's the race. Chad's got to make just a couple clean corners. They head down here to 3 and 4. Presley with a big dive across the apron. Just not quite close enough, and it's going to be Chad Frankenfield taking race 3 over Presley, RC, Camargo, Peacock back there. What a race. What a finish. Presley did everything but hit him.
Good clean racing this half, or I should say good clean racing in the second half of this race. As we went, after that last wreck, we went caution-free the rest of the way, and Chad Frankenfield gets himself another year, another victory in the Carb Day festivities.
Yeah, Chad wins the 3rd race here on Carb Day. He won that race off of 4 with the defensive line there. He moved up. He saw what Presley did. and he knew how to defend it. He knew what he needed to do, and he knew Presley was going to try to get back to the gas a little quicker that time in 3 and 4. And he ran the perfect line to put Presley right there in the dirty air all the way through the corner and force Presley to have to lift. And that's what won him the race. That last lap was probably the least exciting lap that Chad had in those last 10 laps trying to defend, because he knew that Presley wasn't going to be able to make a run at him.
Yes, well said. Well, we're going to see if Chad can hop on into the infield care center, maybe get a brief interview with him. We know he is a very busy man. So if not, then we can always talk to James Watson or Camargo. But we're going to give him just a couple seconds more before we make a decision here. But Chris, yeah, I am 0 for 3 on winners this year compared to last year, where I think I got like half of them right.
Yeah, I don't think I've picked a winner yet tonight either, and we've had a couple shots at it. We got one more shot at it. We'll try to win over here in the last one, but nonetheless, these races have been super exciting. They've been a lot of fun. We had that was probably the least exciting race right there that we just watched, and it was two guys going at it at the end, and we saw a little bit of that air game being played, and we just got one more left. And we'll see if Chad can win another one. I think Lewis will be back out here for this one, right?
We'll see. Chad has just informed me that he is too good for an interview. He is too cool for school. So we're gonna go ahead and let's bring up Nieje Carmago. Excuse me. No, I said it right. Yeah, Oh, hold on. Camargo. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and quickly bring him on up into the waiting room. And then, Chris, why don't you go ahead and take it away with our top 10 finisher.
And I am now joined by Camargo. Tell us how to say your name. I want to make sure we say it right.
You can always call me Camargo. It's easy for you guys, but or just Ni. But my name is pronounced Nieje.
Nieje?
Yeah.
Nieje? Yeah, we need to go and learn another language, I guess, up here. But talk to us about your race here. You finished 4th. It was the first time we've seen you tonight. You missed the first 2. What did you think about what you seen out there? And will you be joining us here for this last race of the night?
Yeah, I will join you guys for Indy Pro. I really love those cars are, for me, they're one of the 2 cars that I like most in iRacing. They're really fun to race, and especially on this track, they're really fun.
Now, it looked like it was pretty difficult to pass out there. We seen guys just kind of running the line, and we had a couple of those big wrecks earlier that took out a lot of the field. So was it as hard to pass out there as it looked?
Yeah, especially I don't know about the setup because I didn't have much time to look at it, but it was a bit too tight. So it was fun to race, but was really hard to pass. Was really, really close. And especially with the field that everyone's really good, so it gets a bit too locked.
Well, all right, give us a breakdown. What do you expect to see here in this last race? Do you expect to see more of the same there for the kind of stuck in line, or do you think we're going to see a lot more passing here this next race? And are you going to be coming back and talking to us again here when you win the next one?
I hope you're coming back. It should be a lot faster. This car is faster, and they can slide a bit more, so it should be fun. And it's probably gonna have more passes because the car just allows to do more than the other one. It has more possibilities on the aero and the speed.
Well, all right. Before we let you jump out of here and get ready to run this next race, who helps get you to the track week in, week out, and is anybody out there watching?
Feel free to say it in Portuguese if you want to.
Oh, no, don't worry. Everyone that watches can speak in English or Portuguese. Don't worry about it. I really like to thanks the guys for TWR that bring me here. It's really fun to race with them. They taught me a lot. I have been learning a lot on this league, so I'm just here to learn, and I've been learning a lot. And thank you guys for being here and doing the broadcast.
Well, all right. Good luck here in this next race. Like I said, come back, talk to us again. I'll try to brush up on a foreign language here and maybe give you something when you come back.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and send him back down, and then we're going to go ahead and take our last intermission break. Let me go ahead and move him to. Oh wait, what team was he in again? Team Watson. There we go. I sent him back to the right place. I am a smart person. All right. Well, that's gonna do it for this race. Up next, coming up, is going to be the last race of the festivities, the Freedom 75, and that is going to involve the Indy Pro 2000s at the same track here, and that race is going to be starting at 9:30, so a little bit less break than the last two times, but we're all going to have fun, and we'll be back during the last couple minutes of qualifying. So see you guys soon.
And welcome back for the last time tonight. We got one more race left to run here. It is the Freedom 75. It is nearly completely dark over here in Indianapolis. We are wrapping up qualifying here, just a little over halfway through right now. Kale, Layton, Dylan, Camargo, Connor Thompson back out here tonight after he hasn't raced with us since the first race. We got Luis back out here. Mark's up here in the midfield. Chad has not qualified yet. We'll have to see what kind of lap he puts down. He's going to try to get out here, qualify on the pool, and lead the whole race once again. Presley's out here right now. Probably on a heater. And you brought up a good stat there.
18 cars for this final 75 lap race here tonight. We've had three different races with 3 different winners. Will the streak continue, or are we gonna have our first repeat winner of the night? I think we're gonna have 4 different winners here tonight. What about you, Chris? What do you think?
I agree. I just think it's every car is different. You know, they might have been on the same track the last 3. As I say that, Presley goes out here and lays down an absolute heater. So you know what? I'm switching my answer. I'm switching. Presley's gonna win this one, I think.
Oh, you think Presley's gonna win? You know what? I got my money on Leighton Norgard on winning this last race.
Hey, that's a good pick. He got wrecked out earlier.
I'm sorry if you get wrecked out, as I have all my picks tonight.
And Chad's out here. He went to 8th, was all the better he could muster on his first lap. We'll have to see if the second lap can be better. I think these guys have been picking up on lap 2. And he does. He goes to the pole with a heater right there. In the final 40 seconds of qualifying, Chad jumps up to the top of the charts. Can he hold it? I think... I don't think anybody's going to beat him. I don't see anybody on track.
The only other person on track is the 12, but the 12 has already posted his 2 laps.
So Chad's going to go back-to-back on the pole. Can he go back-to-back on the race win? I'll tell you what. You asked about if it was going to be a repeat winner or a new winner. That's 2 repeat winners on the front row right now. And with the lack of passing we have seen over here on this short track, I'm liking my odds as the green flag's about to fall here. Chad and Presley covered the field by nearly 1/10 of a second. We talked about how tight the times were last time. Chad put down a 24, Presley put down a 25. It's a full 10th as Cale runs a 35 in 3rd. Quite a bigger gap than what we've had all night long tonight in qualifying.
In 4th, Leighton Norgard. James Watson 5th. Dylan Haber 6th. Niehe, is that how he said it was? Camargo. Connor Thompson Gardner in 8th. Treston Forston in 9th. Has Treston been racing? Is this his first race?
I think this is his first one tonight. His first one he's made.
Treston's
the only one he can make now.
Wayne Hunter, Mark Revilis, Thomas Kuehl. I think this is his 2nd race. Let's see who else is out on track. Thomas Hunter Smith, Luis Gonzalez Nunez, Brendan Lichtenberg, Harrison Talion, Mitchell Javier, Chris Albrecht, and Josh Osborne. Is going to be in... Oh, we do have 19 cars, so that matches the same amount as the first race. We had a last-second edition.
Yeah, that's right. Everybody out here trying to run this last one.
Also, yeah, Luis is
waiting on everyone to break.
He did mention from his interview he was going to miss, I think, 2 races, and sure enough, he did, and he's back for this last one.
Yeah, but if you missed those middle 2 races... Specifically that 2nd race, you missed quite the show that happened tonight between Chad and RC. And you know, RC's one that we have lost from race 3 to race 4. He must be done for the night.
No payback from RC for Chad.
I don't see Gavin out here for this race.
Yeah,
so we are missing a few notables.
I think we probably had about 25 to maybe 26 different drivers throughout all the races here. Some of them, I think a couple of them racing all 4, some of them racing 2, most of them kind of racing 1. 1 or 2 around there, that mark. So, strong turnout here for this year's Carb Day festivities. And the reason we do this is all for Thursday. Why don't you tell me about what is happening Thursday?
Well, Thursday, we got Luis out here starting. Where's he starting? 14th, but he did win the Freedom 100 at the Speedway earlier. And you'll tune in on Thursday night at about 7:30 on the Elite Racing Network, and you'll get to hear him call the Indy 500, which is what all this is built up for. And I do want to give a shout out to all the drivers, all the sponsors, everybody here, yourself, Carlos, for showing up tonight to help put this broadcast on, and all these drivers racing on the night they don't typically race at to prepare for this, well, not so much to prepare for the Thursday night Indy 500, but to have a lot of fun and a build-up to that Indy 500 here for Carb Day. So it's been a heck of a time tonight. We're ready to end it, though. We're ready to see the last race of the night. Chad Frankenfield's going to take off here from the pool, and we'll see if he can go flag to flag once again.
Well, for the 14th running of the Mark J. Rabiles Photography Indianapolis 500. Pace car's off. Green flag is out for 75 last fantastic laps.
Chad gets away. He's out there in front. Wrecking in the back. Oh, it's Wayne Hunter. Oh, and we're wrecking some more. Oh, we got a big wreck here early in this race.
Huge incident there.
Tristan Hunter Smith. So Tristan made his first start of the night, and he might not have gotten to high gear.
Oh. What happened? The whole back end kind of started to drift.
Yeah,
Gyro cam. 3rd, 4th. Oh yeah, no, just lost traction there. A little too much beans entering the corner. And tried overcorrecting it, but unfortunately, you mentioned when you're turning it that far to the right, you're probably going to crash.
Yeah, and that's going to end Thomas's night. It's going to end Hunter's night, Wayne, Tristan. These guys all involved in this wreck here early in the race. Very unfortunate, especially for somebody like Tristan, who this was his only shot tonight. This was the only race he could make, and it is over. Like I mentioned before, they even got to high gear. That's all he had. Take a look here at this replay.
Oh man, that's Hunter Smith, who had cleared the wreck, but because the way he cleared himself set him up to be very compromised in the middle of the corner. Tried catching it, but unfortunately also went head first into the outside wall and has killed the race car.
He drives it back with the front wheel not hanging on. Just a hard hit, big crash. And it's a lot like the last race. We saw a big wreck early in the last race. Well, we actually saw 2. Well, we're at 1 of 2 here on that 4, so we'll see what happens as Chad's got the field in hand coming out of 4. Green is out. He gets a great launch there in front of Presley. They are away, single file, and then towards the middle to back section of the field there, Connor Thompson, Gardner. The first side-by-side battle with a little bit of contact. Nearly had us an accident there. Run here. We finally make a lap under green. Well, I say finally. We just had the one caution. But these guys at the back are definitely trying to put on a show. They are beating and banging back here on Josh Osborne like they are in a stock car in Martinsville. These guys are absolutely just driving super hard here at the back. Let's take a look here at towards the front. Oh, and we're wrecking Josh Osborne. Just couldn't keep that. Couldn't keep banging around like you're in a stock car and getting away with it. Unfortunately, the car that I called out that was making a lot of contact there, Josh Osborne, was the caution. You see, he comes down the racetrack. He gets into... Is that Mitch?
I believe so.
I believe
Yeah,
that is
Mitch
Mitch.
Severe, Harrison Talion were all involved in that one.
Yeah, so there's 3 more. And that's going to dwindle us down to just 12.
Yeah, it just
Josh
comes
Osborne's
down.
still running, but I just wonder, it looked like maybe from the one shot, Carlos, that he hit the wall in the middle of the corner and then just
Well, he
tried to
did.
jerk it all the way down the track.
He did hit the wall in the middle of the corner, but he had it out of the wall and recovered by that point. So they're 2 separate incidents, at least in my book.
Yeah, you could just see that one coming for that last lap or two. You know, they were back there racing really aggressive, banging doors.
He's hit a wall, that he's off the wall, but he's recovered.
And he just comes straight down the track, and just not much you can do.
One to green here.
Just very, very unfortunate set of circumstances for those guys underneath him. Wayne is left. Harrison is left. Preston is left. Chad's still sitting out here leading this race with 65 to go, 64 to go here as they get the restart. Chad's going to bring them all the way around to the restart zone. Get ready to be on that loud pedal. Green is out. Chad wants away, gets away, but that battle is on for third. See James trying to take advantage of a late and cannot quite do it. They race side by side down into 3. But it's going to be really hard to make this pass on the bottom. Leighton putting up a heck of a fight. James drives down into 1. Going to try to do a little bit of a slide job. Cannot quite get up there. Does get some good grip coming off, though. He's almost clear. Almost going to get there. Does he slide up? He tries to slide up, but Leighton moves up higher. Runs through a little bit of the marbles. Leighton just hanging on, and James is just going to drive down into turn 1 and take it. A little bit of a slide job right there. Oh, something. Wrecking in the back. Wrecking in the back.
Caution is back out, as doesn't quite tell me who was involved.
I think it was Camargo, I believe. They come off of turn 2. It's going to get a little bit loose. Oh, and then he's going to get a little tap. And, oh, that's... I'm not sure who hit him, but that car that hit him is likely done.
I think that was Connor Thompson Gardner. As I think Camargo might have come out of that okay. I think he got some phantom netcode. I think he netcoded through the damage, so I think he got really lucky in that case. But for Gardner, that was worst case scenario for him, as that tire is not connected.
Yeah, and the worst hit was not the hit into the back of the car in front of him. It was the hit into the outside wall. Just not a lot he could do at that point in time. Very unfortunate set of events there. And I mean, we are rapidly going to run down here into single digits if these guys can't figure it out. Connor's on pit road. He's done for the race, like we mentioned there. Camargo's coming down pit road. I think I think Camargo's rear suspension might be bent just a little bit. I don't know how bad. He stopped in his pit box for a second and then rolled on. Pace car lights are off. Gonna have to put on his best restart. Doing his best John Force out here. Comes through 3 and 4. Approaching this restart box. Green is out. Great launch for Chad. Not so great back there, about 6th place or so. A little bit of a stack up. A little bit of Dylan being sleeping. Kale's up there. Connor has left the session, so they are loaded up and headed home. Battle right now is, I guess, what, 7th place or so? Oh, and we got a spinner. He saves it. Luis with the big save.
Locked it up real hard though, so thankfully this is an R Factor 2. We don't have flat spots on these tires, but gonna lose a bunch of track position, all the way down to 11th.
Yeah, but losing that track position's a lot better than losing a race car. And the way it's going tonight, he might be alright later once some more of this chaos breaks out. These guys really strung out now. Maybe even a little gun shy. All these cautions might make these guys a little bit gun shy. They might be a little bit easier. Not trying as hard. Because drivers hate it when we get caution after caution after caution like we've seen tonight. Nobody likes that. It gets frustrating as a driver. Obviously, it can get frustrating as a broadcaster. It gets frustrating as a league owner. Like, everybody wants, long green runs. You want to see some racing. Nobody wants to watch pace laps.
Especially when we're almost nearing on the 4-hour mark.
Yeah, we've been here for a while tonight. It's been a fun time, though. I've had a great time, Carlos.
I've had a great time with you as well. And, if Chad forces me, or no, not forces me, but if Chad asks me to do this again, probably will. But, that being said, still would like to run this race next year.
I think, if we got a year in advance, there's plenty of time to get some practice. You get out here and, what do you say? Well, I guess 6 months from now, not even a year. There's one in A season, one in B season. So about 6 months from now, you get out here and you win the Freedom 100. What do you say?
I say I'll buy a whole jug of milk and I'll just pour it all over myself.
Now, be careful what you say, because there's a group chat out here of us drivers that they will ask to see video proof of you doing such things.
I got no problem filming myself doing that. I film myself doing worse stuff.
Well, that's a rabbit hole that I don't think we're going to go into on the broadcast, but maybe a little bit later after this thing wraps up. Right now, what I do know is Chad is driving away. Well, not driving away, but he's out here just steady Eddie. Leading this thing, managing his gap, looking at Presley out the back. James right there in third, Leighton a little bit further back. Hale, Dylan, Brendan right there. Those guys are running real close to each other. Brendan trying to make this pass on Dylan. Working down this racetrack right now. That black and white machine trying to figure out a way to make a pass here. Which it doesn't seem like anybody's really been able to figure out how to make a pass. You see here, he's down underneath him, down into one. Doesn't do the full send.
It's too early for that right now. Right now, they're all logging laps. Sora, Watson, they're probably just maybe trying a couple different lines here and there, seeing what could work there for the end. But I think for sure logging laps, saving your stuff, because we saw that was done by Gonzalez Nunez on race number 1 to get that victory, or at least help him have an easier time getting that victory by saving his stuff. We've seen that from other race winners. You have to be there at the end, and you have to be there with a lot of rubber on those tires.
Yeah, and I think one of the best things that's happened to Carb Day over these last few runnings of it here in the Elite Racing Series is the tire limits. I believe it started a few years ago with, one set, get them whenever you want. And now, tonight, I believe the restriction has been you're going to run the same set of tires all the way through. Nobody can nobody can pit and get any tires. Nobody's got any in the pits, so that creates great racing. Even if there's a bunch of cautions, your tires are still pretty worn out at the end of these races. So I think that's one of the better decisions Chad has done for this Carb Day experience and the racing we see out here is to ensure that we get guys racing on old tires at the end of these races.
Oh, and the wall goes Sora. Just a little kiss, un poquito besito there from Sora. But I think he might be okay. Just gave up a little bit of time. I don't know if he got some dirty air or maybe was thinking about something else there for a brief second, but just went up there and gave that wall a little smooch.
Just a little one. That's all you can afford to give it. You don't want to hit it too hard. He talked about that earlier too. He talked about how he kind of thought he gave up a shot to win that race that he ended up winning there when he hit the wall, but old Santa Claus there was waiting off of turn 2 in Chad Frankenfield to help him find his way to victory lane. And right now Chad has got 0.3 of a second up over Presley. Still the closest battle on the racetrack is that of Brendan and Dylan, as Brendan is still just trying to make this happen on the bottom. He just cannot quite do it. Keeps going down there, trying to find a way, pulls up beside him, but that's all he can do is get beside him. He cannot get the pass completed. And now he's got to be careful about how he pulls out, when he pulls out, what kind of run he's got when he pulls out, that he doesn't get stuck down there and let Camargo pass them both, or at least pass him on the top and then start trying to take a shot at Dylan. This is the battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Taking a look at Chad there. Still sitting out there, driving off into the sunset. Inside of 40 laps to go. Presley right behind him. Presley's thinking, man, I just did this all last race, and now here I am doing it again.
Rear got a little loose exiting turn 4. That allowed Lichtenberg to get to his inside in 1 and 2 and continue with the attack there through 3 and 4.
This is as far up as he's been. Really trying to make it work. And he's starting to lose a little bit of that ground back now. Tries to make this bottom side work. You got to get the pass done. He doesn't. He's going to have to get back in line, go back to work, try it again.
And we are actually 2 laps past halfway at this point, as there are now 36 laps remaining, with 39 being completed. As Frankenfield looking strong, looking to break that streak of individual winners here for this season's edition of Carb Day. He's doing good. Sora is in second, hasn't given up, actually gained a little bit of time these last couple of laps. He was as low as almost half a second behind after he barely nudged the wall. But he's slowly gaining some time, I think.
Oh, and he hit the wall again right there off of 4. Yeah, just scraped the wall a little bit there off of 4. Presley's driving hard. He's trying to get this lead. I know it. He's not pulling out all the stops yet, but Presley is trying to figure out a way past Chad, because with how hard it is to pass, he knows how important it is to get this track position. And Brendan tried to make a pass there as well, and he got bobbled up, and now they've given Dylan some room back there, and he's had to defend against Camargo.
I was just going to say, you can hit that once without issues. The second time is scary, but the third time is what ruins it for you. And he hit it that third time. And Presley Sora will not be winning this Freedom 75. Excuse me, I just realized I forgot to change it up in here. So it's been saying Freedom 50 this whole time. Do apologize for that, guys. But yeah, unfortunately for Presley Sora, hit the wall one too many times and has broken that vehicle. Actually, he didn't even break the vehicle. He just took it straight to pit road and called it a night. He's like, I can't win this, so I'm done. As he got a black flag for speeding in pit road, and then obviously he took a tow and then cleared it. I don't blame him though. He's not points racing. He's out here to get a victory. And in his mindset, if he ain't gonna finish first, he might as well finish last.
Yeah, and that gave Chad a heck of a lot of breathing room right there. I mean, Watson like you mentioned right there. I mean, it's just an absolute gift right there. Just unfortunate for Presley, but we talked about it. We saw it happening. You saw it. You talked about him hitting the wall there, Carlos. And talked about one too many times. We talked about how hard he was pushing, trying to make that pass because he knew, how hard it was to pass. That you got to start trying now. You can't wait until 10 to go, 5 to go to try, because if you wait that long, you're not going to get that pass done.
Brings us down to
I
only
think Brendan
10 cars on the track at the moment, which it's going to be good for all these guys on the track because they're guaranteed a top 10 finish. But I think Frank, based on pure pace alone, not counting if anybody's saving tires or whatnot, but Frankenfield's only competition kind of seemed to have just pushed it a little too hard is Watson, who's now in second. Or it's only going to be, time will tell here with these last 26, 25 laps remaining, 26, of if Watson is actually slower than Frankenfield or if he and Norgard were maybe just saving their stuff.
Yeah, and one thing that's happened here while we were talking about that is Brendan was trying to get up there to pass Dylan, and he over pushed the car, made a mistake, lost all that ground. I believe he has actually at some point gotten up against the wall a little bit and hurt the speed. And Camargo passed him, went up there, passed Dylan, made that pass here. 50 laps in, he has done a good job saving his tires, but without a caution, you're not overcoming 7.5 seconds from 5th place in 25 laps. Ooh, and Dylan gets into the wall there off of 4.
I'm just not seeing any changes in terms of gap differential from Watson or Norgard. I think Norgard has actually lost a little bit of time to Frankenfield, but Watson's kind of hanging the same speed. And with 23 laps to go, these laps are going to go by fast, so he has to go now because he can't just get to the back bumper of Frankenfield on the last lap and then make one attempt and pass him. He has to build it up. He's got to be there for a couple laps, setting up his move. It's not going to be as easy as just showing up there on the last lap.
And Chad's working traffic. I was curious if he was going to lose any time, but he passed Luis out here pretty easy. Lost maybe a half a tenth or a tenth or so, and now he's coming up on the back of Mark. And Mark's going to run right in his lane here. Mark said, look, you can pass me, buddy. I'm not just going to give it to you. I'm running in 9th place. Drop some of that dirty air on Chad. Mark drives all the way down to the apron. Tell you what, Mark wasn't going to let him go.
That costed Frankenfield a couple seconds, and I was a bit worried Mark maybe would have clipped like the grass or gotten himself loose and crashed into Frankenfield, as I've seen that happen before. Not with Mark though. But that would have sucked for all parties involved. Thankfully, no harm, no foul, as Frankenfield is actually, he's actually activated his can of nitrous because he's gone on and gained a 10th more on Watson since then.
Yeah, and Watson's gotten to this traffic now too, and is he had a way rougher time of it than what Chad has had. Chad only lost about a tenth or two through all that traffic, and Watson's already lost a tenth, and he hasn't even gotten to Mark yet. Now, I don't think Mark will be as aggressive running the line that Watson is running, but he might, he could be. Mark is running in 9th place right now. And he doesn't, as he runs all the way up high there, not going to give any dirty air to Watson, but Chad must have thrown tire saving out the window because all of a sudden he is a tenth or two quicker every lap. Chad has opened it up, and Watson just cannot quite get there to do anything with Mark. Mark's trying to give him a bunch of racetrack. Mark's giving him so much track. Mark's in the wall. And Watson still had trouble going around him. Tell you what, the battle might be for second before this thing is said and done. I think a Leighton might get to James here. James is really starting to struggle. A Leighton's moved way up the racetrack. He's kind of doing what we saw in that last race at the end with Presley, when he kind of opened up his entry and really figured something out. A Leighton's way opened up his entry trying to get those big runs off the corner, and it seems to be working for him. I mean, he's entering on the fence and then just driving straight down the racetrack off the corner. And to be able to do that, you've had to save your right rear pretty good, because from the center off, when you're turning down that racetrack, you are leaning on that right rear. Just absolutely using a ton of throttle to get off the corner and just really laying everything over on that right rear. And now they're both over 3 seconds behind Chad, or right at 3 seconds behind Chad. Chad is just giving the goodbye there. You know, all this talk about Chad we've done tonight, Carlos, he might end up winning 2 out of the 4 races.
Which I think is about the same amount he did last season. I will say though, he did this one far cleaner than the ones last year, because the 2 races that, or even if he does win this one, the 2 races that he wins this year have been leading start to finish, no contact with any other drivers.
And, you know, his carb day, he turned that into an Indy 500 win the last time that this happened. So, got to be a big shot in the arm for him, confidence-wise, to be able to get this done. Now, you know, you can't count your chickens before they hatch, but with 9 to go, it's going to take something pretty crazy to happen out here for him to lose this race. Even if they get a caution, we haven't seen anybody even be able to challenge him, so it would take a few events taking place in a row for him to lose this race. And he is just absolutely destroying this field right now. I mean, his lap times, he is all of a sudden nearly 4 seconds up. Somebody might want to tell him he can slow down. He don't need to push this hard.
He's just making it easy. I think it's possible Watson maybe just used up all he had trying to stay within a fraction of Frankenfield. But the only what could have been is maybe what would have happened if Frankenfield's competition didn't hit the wall, just pushing it a little too hard.
Yeah, and right now we're seeing Chad Frankenfield with the Kyle Larson approach. He wants to embarrass these guys out here, and winning by over 4 seconds is definitely on the path to that. And that gap just continues to grow. I mean, Chad's just running a great line. He's running perfect laps every single time.
On a side note, on lap 59, Luis Gonzalez Nunez did pull down Pear Road and called it a night.
I mean, nearly 0.2 of a second a lap quicker. And that's huge here at a short track. I mean, and now we're at the point where even if there's a caution, the race is over, and the only way he loses is if he is the caution. Over 0.2 quicker that lap. That battle is going to be for second place. If Leighton can close in a little bit, and Kale's closing in on this group as well. Coming to 2 laps to go right here. Big run here for Leighton. Here he goes. He's going to take the look. Going to try to work this bottom side. Cannot quite get it done. That allows Kale to come in a little closer. As we're watching this battle here, Chad is taking the white flag as we speak. But there's nobody else in that shot other than a couple lappers here that he's trying to get to. Chad's going to come through 3 and 4. He is going to come out of 4, and he is going to get the win. Second one of the night. This battle rages on for second. Kale with a big shot at third. Doesn't quite get there, but it's going to be Watson, Norgard, and Pocock there.
And Chad Frankenfield has led the last 125 laps of tonight's races, and won 2 races there at the end.
Yeah, and that one was just, I mean, that was an absolute spanking right there. Flag to flag, he led every lap. Did not have anything for him out here tonight other than, you know, Presley hung close with him, but Presley made the mistakes, got into the wall, and Chad didn't make those mistakes.
Dave Huck saying Chad taking 2, guaranteeing Carb Day will return next season.
And I'm glad. I like it. Carb Day's fun. It's a fun day.
Yeah,
It's fun to watch.
even if Chad finishes last every L4 races, I want this to return. The fun night of festivities.
We did have 8 cars on the lead lap right there. I tell you, Brendan, Dylan, they really fell off there towards the end of that run. Kale and the Leighton are both sitting there saying, man, if we had 20 more laps, we'd at least gotten second and third.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let me go see if Chad actually wants an interview this time but why don't we go ahead and talk to James Watson. Chris, take it away.
Yeah, we're here with James Watson. He's hung out on the Discord all night. Finished second there to Chad. What more did you need to get Chad right there at the end, James, or was it just no chance at all?
No, not really. This isn't one of my better tracks, and tire conservation is absolute nightmare. So that was my biggest worry coming into the races. Conserving enough to at least have something left at the end there, and so bringing it home second, that's huge. You know, the cars that we ran tonight at Carb Night, these are the cars that I spend pretty much most of my time on the service in, especially this car. So I knew I'm not likely to end up top 3 or with real good results in the Indy car. So I knew if I was ever going to get a good result here in Elite, I would have to do it here, given how much experience I have. So, you know, I knew winning the race probably wasn't likely because, again, regardless of how much experience I have, there's still a lot of ridiculously talented guys in this league. So I at least wanted to have the opportunity to show that I'm, you know, at least decently quick in something. So to bring home a P2 in this and a P3 in the sprint cars, I'm absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, and it was a great battle there for second right at the end. But talk to us about your night as a whole there. 4th race, you ran a few of these tonight. We saw you in the Discord all night. What's your overall takeaway from Carb Day, looking ahead there to Thursday?
Happy, but also bummed because, you know, I was either taken out while battling for a podium position or finishing in a podium position. So, it's truly a good with the bad type night here. So, but like I said, you know, being able to have a good night in areas where I knew that I would have a chance to do good and, you know, at least show some skill was so important to me while I'm running like 15th or so in the IR18 on Thursday nights.
Yeah, and what's your outlook for Thursday night there as you get ready to run the Indy 500 and be a part of that event Thursday night? What are you hoping to accomplish, and do you think there is a path for you to get to victory lane with all the different strategies that we might see take place?
A lot, and I mean a lot. And I mean a lot would have to fall into place for me to win. You know, the IR18 isn't one of my better cars. It just doesn't quite fit my driving style nearly as much as I need to, and neither does IMS, despite how much I love it. So, and with the sheer amount of talent, you know, it took so much work and luck and prayer just to be able to make the race. You know, knock on wood, I feel just kind of playing with house money at this point. Like, I'm just happy to be here. I just want to complete all the laps and try to bring home some solid result. But, you know, just making the field is huge for me compared to everyone I was having to go up against.
Well, all right, James, before we let you jump out of here and do those final preparations for Thursday, who helps get you to the racetrack week in, week out?
Gotta thank everyone at Team Watson Racing Setups. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. Gotta thank everyone at the National Racing Network for always sticking with me. Gotta thank Icon, Sim Racing Apparel, Boomer Button Boxes, ZS Designs, and Dizzy V Designs for putting together my paint schemes. Binks Designs for stepping up and helping me out with a few things, and my folks for watching at home. And thank God for this good result too.
Well, all right, James, thanks for showing up tonight. It was fun to watch you guys race tonight. Can't wait to see you with the show that you guys put on Thursday, and good luck Thursday night.
Yes, sir. Cheers, guys.
All right. It also
Well,
looks like,
Carlos,
yeah, it looks like Chad may not want to come give us a chat celebrating his back-to-back victories here. So that's kind of going to leave it with us. I have failed to call a single winner tonight. But for this last one, he didn't crash. So I'm happy with that.
yeah, you got to take those small victories. But nonetheless, it was a fun night. It was a great night. You know, even if Chad did win those last two races, we had some excitement out here, had some chaos, had a little bit of tempers, had everything you could want from a short track. Maybe a little bit more passing in those last couple of races, a little bit more of the ability to pass, but had some big wrecks. Can't wait to see what these guys have in store on Thursday night. Thanks to you, Carlos, for being here tonight. You know, Dave keeps all of us in track out here and in check, and so none of this happens without Dave at ERN and you yourself, Carlos, and all the people behind the scenes, and of course Chad putting on the league, putting on this special event tonight. You know, it's a great event to be a part of, and I'm happy that I got to do it with you tonight, Carlos.
Yeah, and thank you to you for volunteering to hop on in tonight. If you hadn't had messaged me asking if there was any availability, I probably would have been doing this myself because I completely forgot that nobody else had signed up for Carb Cup in terms of commentating. So thank you so much for showing up and for being here and for being such a fantastic commentator.
And man, we got a lot going on the Elite Racing Network coming up this week, right? We got the Cup Series in action tomorrow from Wilkesboro, so everybody needs to tune into that. You got the Indy 500 on Thursday. Then you're going to get to breathe for a couple days before the Truck Series is in action on Sunday night. Back with the Mark Rebelos Photography Series on Monday night. I think ARCA is going to be back next Tuesday, rolling right back in the Cup. So a whole lot of racing action, and your home to find it is here on the Elite Racing Network.
Yes, well said, well said. And as you mentioned, don't forget to come check out on Thursday the 14th running of the Mark J. Rebelos Photography Indianapolis 500, presented by Lucas Oil School of Racing. So check that out. It'll be another fantastic event. Maybe we'll see Chad win a back-to-back Indy 500. I don't think he's done that, so we'll see if he can do that, or if he can do it again if he has. But a lot of great drivers making that have already qualified that will make an attempt to win this prestigious race. So we'll see you all Thursday, and can't wait to see what's in store for everyone.